Yo, what up? It is Sunday. I realize that often I have this big screen that comes up. And so I wanted to start today by saying, hey, good morning. How are you? My name's Andre LaRoe. I'm a Brooklyn-based portrait photographer. I've been saying visual artist because I do a lot of other different things. I am currently rocking a vintage University of Florida sweater because we won yesterday and because I do love a good vintage thing. My hair is not combed and it's kind of a lazy Sunday in New York. I had a really great stream last night with Carla Juliet from Portland, but today I just wanted to kind of start out, say hello, and say thank you for choosing to hang out with me. I think as an only child, I can appreciate what the internet has brought me in terms of friends and community. And so I guess I misunderstood how powerful streaming would be. So, with that in mind, if you're watching, please in the comments say where you're watching from or how we met, if we've met, or, what brought you to my work. So then when I figure out streams for now or for the future, I can make sure that we're marketing to that. But anyway, I just figured it's noon 30 in New York. It's half an hour till NFL starts. So I know some of my friends are going to be pretty consumed with that. Thought it'd be nice to kind of have a little something chill. Gonna show some work that I worked on with Skillshare and with Moment Lens for some classes I did that are going to come out soon, and just kind of work. So if you have any questions, drop them in. So yeah. Oh my gosh, Natalie, what are you doing? Natalie, if you want to come into the stream for a second and haul out some of your work, Nat is an amazing film photographer. So anyway, with no further ado, let me share the screen so ain't nobody trying to look at my face like that. Oh, this is an aggressive size. Why would I need my face this big? Let's try to flip this. Like a bank code. And I'm not allowed to have music on my stream. We'll, license music. So I am using, just listen to some stuff I want to jam to in the meantime. So actually, I can't announce that yet. Kind of wanted to show some things that I've been working on. I don't know if y'all know Burrow. They are the folks that made this sweet shelf back here. Last night, the stream was about how to seek out and establish a brand partnership. I've been working with them to try to capture kind of what it's like to receive one of their things and the process of putting together and setting in your home. So courtesy of that, there's some very moody photos of Lydia's hands opening these boxes. I think they're pretty fun, right? I think especially this time with coronavirus, brands have to figure out creative ways to get the photos they want. B-Ved's in here. Yo, first of all, if anyone is a Twitch person, please follow me on Twitch. I don't even fully understand how it works, but I'm getting there. You know what I mean? So all right, let's get into it. So all I'm doing is selecting photos that I think are, what are the mood that I'm looking for. So they show the product. A box is a little tricky because it's a little weird and bumpy, but I think it has some good light. Isn't so moody that it can't show the product, but still is my style. And if you have questions, feel free to throw them in. But I'm going to kind of just be quietly hang on here. Yo, if you live on Twitch, man, let's talk about how I should treat it in the future because I don't really know. I'm simultaneously casting. Oh, okay, New York. I'm simultaneously casting to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and Behance at the same time. So as I'm working, just so you know, I'm in Lightroom. Right now I'm on the time strip view or film strip view. So I'm going through photos like this. And I am pressing numbers, keyboard, and then those are corresponding to rating systems down here. So this is 1 star, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is to pick something or reject it. I don't really use the flags a ton, but for the ratings, what I do is I'll go through a set of photos once and star them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And usually I'll go through once and star them 1 if I like them. And essentially the zeros are all the photos I kind of reject for either they're too blurry or they just don't really get exactly what I want or they miss the decisive moment. And then I go through it again, star it twice for the ones I like really well out of the 2 other ones, and then 3 is for the best out of the 2s. You get it. Then maybe I'll send the images to the client, and then after they give feedback, I'll edit the 3s that I like the best and go from there. But here, for example, you're seeing the difference in this photo to this one. The angle here allows your eye to run along this leading line. When I pick one in, it cuts it off and cuts off the L. You still see the word burrow, but like it just isn't as effective as this last image. So this doesn't get rated. Nor does this. This is a little too close. This is super ineffective, but I think it's kind of cool because it includes that little bit of color. Out of focus. This one gives us more of that leading line we wanted. Try to sneak some color in here. It didn't work as well as I would have hoped, right? Lid's head. This was thought it was a good idea. Didn't work. There was too much contrast between this light and this light. It was later in the day, so the sun wasn't projecting out anymore. It was just kind of hitting a shadow. Versus here, I think is more effective. It feels like a lived-in place. There's just like a little bit of humanity creeping in. Which I think is really nice. Leads your eye right to the logo. So maybe a little busy. This actually is kind of interesting. I wish I had explored it more. Because you can see it a little bit. I wish this wasn't here. This was a little bit higher. It would have been a little bit more effective. This is just too on the nose. This is nice, but it's out of focus. So I get it? Yeah, we got it. Just not this. This would have been nice here. I missed it just slightly. Sometimes the light can be tough. And so don't always trust the screen in the back of your camera. Make sure that you set your focus in a way that is irrefutable. What I mean by that is kind of toss a gem out there. Let me put it in the comments. Make sure you are using back focus on your camera. So what that means is, shout out to Jessica Zalman. I have her one of her lens caps. But normally when you take a photo with your camera, you half press the shutter if you don't change anything out of the box. Your camera is going to, when you press the button all the way down, it's going to take a photo. And if you half press it, it is going to both meter, which means inside of the viewfinder, it'll tell you, oh, hey, Andre, this photo is exposed well or exposed poorly. But then also if you half meter, your camera is going to autofocus for you, right? Obviously you can turn that off by having a manual focus, like a film camera, or you can turn it off if you just slide manual focus on your lens. But if you have autofocus on, it's going to autofocus for you. And that's super dangerous because sometimes when you're setting, like I am here, if you accidentally have this on and you just graze this, it'll change your focus. You go to take a photo and all of a sudden it's not the image that you wanted. And so what I'd recommend is you can change the back focus on your camera. And you're probably like, how do I do that? I will show you. You Yikes. Right now my YouTube is Digimon videos and car comparison. So judge me if you want. But the sneeze though. Okay, so and so if you Google it, it'll just show you how to use back focus. And all it does is it just changes it so that instead of half pressing on the front, the only way you can autofocus is by pressing the AF on button on the back of your camera. That way you can set a focus by pressing this and you can move around and your camera's always going to focus on that point. I found this really useful when I was photographing sports in college because especially basketball, they're moving so quickly that you sometimes can half press and then it will give you something that's out of focus. And so I personally find focusing on spots really, really helpful. It's kind of like if you have your phone and you change your, like if you're in the native camera app on the iPhone and you press and hold and that little yellow box shows up, it sets your focus and exposure for that spot. So then if you move all around, no matter what, it's always going to be trying to focus for that focal length that you chose. So it's just about control, you know? So anyway, let's get back to it. Let's put this Digimon away. I'll keep being my childish self. Oh, hey, Kirsty, how you doing? All right, and let me get back to it. So yeah, that's out of focus. And that was kind of how you want to fix it. So here with this, like you got to be careful. It's already pretty moody, but I think there's some niceness in there. A little ginger in the kitchen. This versus this, I'm a firm believer in trying to show the edges in your image. Allow the image to, like the light to frame it and not the edges of the photo. Like I think this is a stronger photo, excuse me, than this one. You're probably asking, like, I know they didn't hire you to do this. Oh, here's a good example. You see this yellow thing? This glove? Took it out. It was too distracting. That feels much more natural than this. What you're not seeing is as I'm going along, I'm hitting the 1, 2, or 3 star that I talked about. And then it's showing up down here. You see how this kind of fills in? I personally find it easier if you rate as you go. Because then you never know when you reference back to the image what you're going to be looking for. So I went ahead and placed this everywhere that I knew I was going to put this shelf. I just tried to shoot through things to do different stuff. Like, you never know what people like. And if you look at the brand of Burrow, this is good. I like this. Shoots through, frames, you know what it is. That eventually became this. And I photographed it right behind me right here with a little bit of window light. And these images aren't going to do a ton. They pair well with what will be the final images as well. The final images of where it looks, as well as the process of me putting things into it. See lots of photos, moody photos of hands touching boxes. It's all very beautiful, focused. But once again, if you're watching, feel free to comment. I can't see who is watching, but if you have any questions or just comment to say what's up on a Sunday afternoon, like I appreciate that. This stream is not only for me, it's for you also. And so if there's anything you want to learn that you think I can help you with, please feel free. I can only see that people are watching it. I can't see who is watching it. So Oh, Kirsty says, "Hey Andre, thank you for the live stream. How do I sort my syncing in Lightroom Classic because it's being slow and keeps showing there are 4 images syncing and it's doing it very slowly?" That's a good question, Kirsty. Somewhere in here, I have a book from my friend Rob Sylvan. That's like Lightroom CC. I will look at it and let you know. But I look to where they're sourcing. Are you sourcing collections? And are you syncing collections that go online, or is it just having a hard time syncing your catalog for some reason? So one of the reasons why your catalog might be going slowly is if hold on. Let's open Lightroom, and meanwhile I'm backing up something. Yes, I keep my apps in color order because I am very nutso about things. So, Kirsty, one thing you can do to make it go slightly less slow is wait for this to load up. I love my computer Dora, but you know, he's a little slow. We probably need to get a new one at some point, but alas, we will do that later. You can go up here to, yeah, he's freaking out. All right, so you can go up here to File. Or actually, no, I think it's in Lightroom Classic, this drop down. It's freaking out. So I'm running on a Mac Mini that doesn't have a separate graphics card. So whenever I run multiple Adobe programs, it's like, no, sir. All right, so one thing you can do is if you go into File Handling, excuse me, if you go to Performance, which is up here, you can change your catch, you can optimize your catch, and then you can also, I believe you can choose how much space. Oh, this is probably what you're talking about, your sync activity. I believe you can change what percentage of your like overall computer performance Lightroom can take. So give me a second and I'm going to find it. I don't use Classic as much anymore, so I kind of can't remember. Increasing your cache might help you, and also optimizing your catalog down here. Let's see. No, I guess I was wrong. Other thing to do is if you have a ton of photos, you can keep the catalog on your computer, but then separate your photos into different drives. Then that way it can access the catalog. It can just access a specific catalog and work from there. But if you have your catalog on a drive also, it's going to take longer because the data is not on the computer itself. It has to access it through a cord, so it's going to run slower. So have your catalog native. You can have your images anywhere, but have your catalog native A. B, like, try your best not to have a bunch of programs open at the same time. And then lastly, C, increase your cache, purge it, or figure out a way to increase your performance. That's the best I can do. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, I got to close this so I can't have people see what it is. Skip this time. Oh, what's up, Devin? If y'all don't know, Devin is a really talented videographer. He's probably on YouTube right now dropping some other video that none of us knew that people could make. He made a ton of really cool stuff during the NBA quarantine season, where he worked with some NBA players and WNBA players to make their BTS content and their content from inside the bubble to show us what it was like to be human in that time, to miss your families and to try to hang out with your teammates. So shout out to Devin. If y'all don't follow it, please do. And I'm going to take a second and find his work so I can drop it in here. Excuse me. Here we go. Oh, Kirksey, totally. Feel free to ask more questions. If anyone has any questions, I'm here for you. All good. We were just working, appreciating the fact that folks want to make time and listen. I'm here for it. All right. So yeah, check out Devin's work. It's really, really cool. Ran a little gnat here. So let me get back to it. It's funny. These look like holes in the wall. They are my little favorite guy plant over here. Here. Oh yeah, Devin. So like, if your Lightroom game is weak, as you're saying, I doubt it. But they actually, you know what? We're doing something different. Devin's here, and I think this is super helpful. Devin, what are you doing right now? I think I have your phone number. Hold on. Devin, I'm going to show you something I think you'll appreciate. I'm going to text you something, my G. See if I can bring you in here real quick. So I can show you this thing. But they made something that is specifically for you, a film editor, to be able to edit on Lightroom a little bit easier. And I will show you how to do it live. Should probably have waited, but whatever. I don't know if Devin actually wants to come in the stream, but if he does, it'll be fun. If he doesn't, it's fine. Essentially what I'm talking about is the new color grading feature in Lightroom, the flagship product. And if he wants to see it, I can show it to him live. If he doesn't want to come into the stream, I can also do it live. If anyone else wants to ask questions about that color grading feature, I'm happy to show it, and I'm about to do so. So let me slide through and kind of finish with these. There's not a ton of these photos anyway, so it shouldn't take too long. So here, I think it's a disservice because this package is so long to photograph it, because no one really cares. It's all about the fact that they use this cool sans serif font. It's the color of the thing that we really can feel familiar and know all about. And so it's just about showing a product or a project, a piece that we like. This is too heavy-handed. I thought before it was a little more subtle. Yo, what up, man? This is too heavy-handed. I thought before it was a little more subtle. Here, go ahead and mute me.
Yeah, hold on.
How you doing, buddy? Yo, what up, man?
What up, my boy? I gotta turn off your stream, actually, so hold on.
It's all good. It is all good. I'm going to show you something that actually is perfect, since you know all about... do you work on Premiere or Final Cut?
Premiere, Adobe Gang.
You what?
I said Premiere, Adobe Gang.
Okay. So, did you see the new Lightroom update that lets you color grade?
No.
On Lightroom? Yeah, no. I thought so. I thought as much.
For video?
Let me pick a different photo. Let me pick a photo that'll help us here. All right, I'll pick something nice and simple. Like this, right?
Right.
So up here in the top right corner in edit, they have this fun little guy here now.
Oh, my goodness.
See that?
So they're actually giving you color wheels in Lightroom?
Yeah. It is a lot easier, and it'll probably make a lot more sense to you because you already do this in your Premiere everyday life.
Yeah. Well, I will be.
So it's a little more rudimentary than Premiere, and I will be the first to say what you do in Premiere is incredible. I could never.
Oh, I'm still learning stuff every day on that, dude. My color grading needs work. I feel like every day it's hilarious, but it's the toughest thing in the world.
But yeah, so the way it sets up, it's pretty simple. You can do all three at once. You can just do your shadows. The bottom slider is the luminance, which, if for anyone that is watching doesn't know what luminance is, it's how bright that specific color is. And so what that means is if we go up to the color mix, which is one above, the background is blue, or it's more closer to a cyan. Sometimes we might be yo, let's just saturate, let's make this thing hella blue, or make it not blue at all. But instead of saturating it, often what you can do instead is you can go to the luminance, which is how bright that color is. And it might give you more of that detail that you want. So now you're watching, it's just as deep of a blue, but it's a brighter blue or a darker blue. Because I think oversaturating can be aggressive. So that's what luminance is for anyone that's watching and is not color grading all the time. But the cool thing is now, as we change our shadows, we can get right into this like almost closer to visco-y look that we want. So I made this like shadow more orange that really paired well with the blue, and then immediately darkened it so it felt more like a 70s filmy. And then things like balance and blending, I don't fully understand yet, but I'm pretty sure blending is just like if we're in Photoshop trying to make sure the layer doesn't overpower it. And then I'm sure balance, balance is more like hue, like adjusting how intense it is. But yeah, this is exactly how you do, or a weaker version of how you do it in Premiere.
Yeah, but I mean, look at how much control you still have, though.
But yeah, I just wanted to show that to you. I thought it would be easier because, like, I think about like.
Well, now this will make me want to play with my photos today. I didn't even have plans to do that, and now I might have to do that today.
What are you gonna do today instead?
Dude, I am more logistical stuff and figuring out. I shot in LA all last week with JaVale and a couple other guys before free agency. So just some workout things, training sessions as I get ready for the season.
Can we talk about how even I'm tired at the idea of watching the season again? Like, I love basketball, and I'm like, wait, talk about the season's back just ended like a month ago.
Bro, a month ago. We were at the workout, 2 days ago, and I'm like, I was just doing this. Like, we were just doing this thing. Why are we back already? And of course, the guys who went, Miami and LA, like, they're like, we've only had a month off. It's the equivalent of like taking a weekend off of your job. I'm like, all right, see you on Monday. Like, dude, they just went through the craziest season of all time. And it's just like, hey, we need to rush to get back. But I get why, because if they all try to push for January, but it was like, hey, you either play in December or you lose millions of dollars. And they were like, yeah. So,
well, my only concern, the good news is because of the bubble, they didn't have to travel a lot. But my concern is what is going to happen to not even just the Heat and the Lakers, but the Nuggets and the Celtics. Those 4 teams that have played super recently. Let's not get people injured. Like these things, like that's body stress is real. So let's just make sure
whatever we go deeper and talk about Utah and whoever else.
Oh yeah, Utah. All
like
the
7 games. Yeah. Like it's gonna, and like the health professionals are like nervous, like realistically nervous, because these guys, like, for instance, I'm putting the video together now, and I'll give you kind of a preview of it. Is JaVale was doing like soft tissue work with his PT, and they're like, "Wow, you're still injured." She's like, "Yeah, I still have soft tissue injuries from a month ago." So they're working on stuff to get ready to go back to practice. I believe they report December 1, December 2nd, around there, and it's like, "Yeah, welcome back to your job, and hope you enjoyed your month off." And so it's going to be interesting. I think this year is going to be very dangerous for a lot of folks who.
100%.
Like, think about a guy like Jimmy Butler, bro. Like, he's never really the most injured dude, but like he put his blood, sweat, and tears into this season, and now all of a sudden they're like, all right, get back on the court.
I would really hope, as a Heat fan, that we have some minutes restrictions, not on Jimmy, on everyone to start the year. Like, I fully mean it. Like, everyone should be pulling like a Coach Bud approach where you're like, yo, everyone can't, like, my drivers aren't playing. My starters aren't playing more than 30 minutes. That's it.
If I had a G League team, I'm letting them play for like my first month.
Oh, like, yeah, like anybody on G League. I'm calling up that Andre, the dude on the Lakers.
Andre Ingram.
I'm calling up that Warriors dude
from last year,
I think. What's his name? He's like an Eastern European dude with the wetter. That dude I'm calling up. I'm calling up Rafer Alston.
Everybody. If you didn't play, if you haven't played since March, you're playing for me for a month. Like,
Billy Donovan's about to suit up. Like, yo, let's go.
I'm okay not playing for like whatever amount of time it was.
Oh,
like,
man.
So nutty, bro.
So real quick, I put your Instagram in, but is there anything that I want to share on screen for anyone? The cool news about this is it lives on because it's frozen, or it's like saved on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and stuff, and it's cool. So like, it's weird. I never know how people are going to show up. Like last night, like a lot of people watched it, and today it was like 12, and people were like, "Nah, I'm good." But then like in 3 hours, I'll get a bunch of comments. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's how YouTube works, bro. We'll post a video that doesn't really hit, and it's also like the time, like whatever your time frame is, like your popular time frame. YouTube, I don't know how much you've gone into your own YouTube studio. You'll see where your audience is really live. See, if you go in there, you'll go to audience. If you go to the audience tab, you can find out when your audience is very engaged on YouTube. So that might help you out because that's essentially how I determine when to drop like player vlogs and their YouTube videos.
So just, while I have you, I think a lot of people see your job, or when you work with the Warriors, or now that you work with a lot of athletes, and think, oh, I really want to do that because I want to be famous adjacent. How do you dispel that? Oh yeah, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm being 100%.
No, but you're not wrong. That's the funniest thing. Famous adjacent is perfect. It's a perfect way to point that out. But what's your question? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, how do you combat that? Whether that was you when you were getting started, or how do you, when you were interviewing people when you worked with the Warriors, or even maybe you're trying to get a second shooter now, what are you trying to tell people so that they can actually do their job and not just want to be next to famous people?
Well, after being sorry, I'm actually like trying to order something while we're talking about this. But,
nothing to be sorry about.
We are. I like vet people very, like now when I hire folks, I vet them pretty deeply. And it's not like this crazy vetting process of like, are you going to be a fanboy or a fangirl? Like, are you going to be professional? It's more like, have you ever worked with an athlete before? All right, cool. If I give you direction, do you think you're going to have any issues with that direction, or you're going to be so worried about who's in the room? And some people, and this is how I usually question, I go like, hey, if we're on a job and an athlete has free time, are you going to ask that athlete for an autograph? Yes or no? And a lot of people will be actually honest and be like, hell yeah, I'll ask for an autograph. I'm not knocking them for it. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that's not going to, if we're on the job, cool. I don't care about it afterwards.
Yeah. I agree.
And then it's just also like, as you know, in this business, word of mouth, right? Like there's so many kids who are on Instagram who try to use Instagram as a portfolio, which I understand. But at the same time, I can tell some kids are rough around the edges, especially in a world now to where like people of color aren't getting the opportunities, you and I might be getting because of the work we've put in. And I'm kind of using that as like, all right, you're rough around the edges, but you really want to do this? Let me teach you the ropes. And sure, you might have some slip ups, but like if you're so worried about, as you put it, being famous adjacent, I'm going to find that out from the first shoot, and then I'll never hire you again. You know what I mean? Or I'll hire you for something that isn't player facing.
Yep.
You'll get the edit. You'll get the edit gig. You won't get the shoot gig, or you won't be with me doing the interviews on Zoom or whatever we might be doing these with. So. To combat that it's hard. It's easier now because I think people are so focused on how to build their own essentially careers out of this during a pandemic, because now you really can't see people in person, right? This was my trip to LA was the first trip I've made since March. And you remember me, I was on the road
all the time,
dude, weekly. You know what I'm saying? And so it's easier to get caught up in those things. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the Instagram world thinking that's like the end all be all. And it's really not, because there's only so many people who make real money from Instagram. And I think a lot of these younger kids, a lot of these younger kids get really wrapped up into like, well, Instagram makes you look famous. Well, that's cool. I want to look famous too, but I can easily just wear a Gucci coat and look famous, but I still got bills to pay. Yeah. So it's always a very interesting take. This website is garbage that I'm trying to order from right now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that, because I think even like think about people we know that are like internet famous because they worked on social stuff. right? So to other, like social media sports people, it's like, oh my God, it's Devin, right? But then you have to remember, like, nobody cares about you
at all. At
at
all. And I've met people
all.
who are like, oh my God, you're at so and so. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, bro. And they're like, I'm like, okay, cool. But it's also weird. Like, don't call me by my handle. Like, that's a weird feeling when people are like, yo, you're at so and so. I'm like, no, I'm Devin. Nice to meet you. Like, don't ever call me at whatever. That's not what my mom would name me.
The times that really help me remember that is, and you do this all the time, whenever I work on, like, I just finished shooting simultaneous stills for a commercial that's going to come out. And there's nothing more humbling than being the stills person on a commercial shoot, because they're like, yo, go stand in the corner until we call for you.
That's it.
And nobody cares about what you need. You're supposed to have 5 minutes after every set. Yo, we cutting stills. We're over time. Okay.
We're cutting stills. Bro, they cut y'all so quick.
So fast. And it's just,
and then people are like, well, where are the photos from the shoot? And then they're like, well, we cut stills.
And you're like, they cut me. It was good though, because the people were the agency people were on set but far away, right. So they were the people that were on charge of the schedule. Yo, Devin, while you're here, we got a question. Muhammad Mia says, how are you caring for your creativity in the pandemic? New projects, different mediums, rest.
How am I caring for my creativity?
Yeah, how are you taking care of it?
Wow, what a question.
Yeah, right.
This time I feel like my therapist would ask me. But that's a great question. How do I take care of my creativity? That's an internal battle for sure, because I think in the beginning of the pandemic, I got caught up in like, I have so much time to do everything.
Yep.
And I can work 18 hours a day, not feel guilty about it. Because I can't shoot now. So I'm in the lab. Like, I'm in here right now on a Sunday when, I could be doing 1,000 other things.
Yeah, you can hang out with your wife. You could be watching football. You could be watching.
You know what I mean? Like, I have exactly, do all these things. I think for me, how I've been taking care of it is literally stepping back when I have the time now, right? Like, so I get a lot of my inspiration from not being in my office, ironically. So I'll take my dog for an hour walk, and that's when my mind is really working outside of the 17 screens that are around me, to where I'm thinking of ideas like, this would be cool. And then I write it down in like my notes and look at it later when I have those devices in front of me. Because as you know, this can all be the screen time, and phones can all be information overloaded all the time, so where you can't really hone in on a creative standpoint. So
no, as your phone's yelling at you, like, you've been on your phone for 9 hours. Yeah, what am I supposed to be doing?
What else are you going to be doing, right? Like, I get the notification now, to where ironically, like, it'll be like, hey, you've watched X amount of TV. I'm like, hell yeah, I watch X amount of TV, because it's just running in the background all day. Like, I don't something else going on. But stepping back has been key during this, but also seeing how, like, right now, my wife just actually walked past not so long ago, but she's getting into like crafting, and she's getting really into like developing her own Etsy shop, and like she's always had that type of hands-on creativity, and has been focusing on it, I'd say, the last 2 months or so, to where like now she's actually selling product, and people have like purchased it from her just off a whim. She's posted on IG. So I've ironically gotten this inspiration and like from that, like caring from that, because that's something I've never had to really do. So we're actually talking about now like creating sets and like doing stuff to where we can have like mini photo shoots in this house.
Wow.
Or similar to what you're going through right now, right? Like, you're talking about you use this plant and stuff in your home. Like, I kind of learned everything in reverse. Like, I went from like not picking up camera to doing very big productions. And now I'm back to like, all right, this is where you probably should have started to get to that point. Mm-hmm. So it took me a while to really walk around my house to be like, hey, this would be a good backdrop, or hey, this looks really good. Because beforehand, I think I needed, $100,000 sets to create something, and now I can just create something literally off my iPhone and good lighting, and it's just me just kind of almost deprogramming the stuff that I felt like I learned before. So that's kind of how I've been trying to take care of my creativity is relearning the processes of doing different things.
Wow, that's real. How do
It's
you
real,
think?
bro.
It's super real. You know what has really surprised me? I have photos of Lynn in here. I think that the thing I didn't realize was how badly I was treating my body normally when we're traveling all over the place. And then now when you're stuck here and there's another person who's like, when are you going to hang out? And you're like, I'm still working. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what a normal person with a regular job is doing. Like the day is over and I'm like still going. And then it's 2 a.m. and they're like, yo, where are you at? And you're like, yeah, I'll be there in an hour. It's like the awareness has grown because there's something else to measure against, you know?
Yeah. And again, like you said,
what?
I said again, like you said, you can get lost in this, bro. Like,
oh yeah,
it's so
because there's an infinite number of things to do, and like I will never be good at everything, and that's okay, right?
Like, how do I have like people who strive for inbox zero? I don't know how they do it, because even if my inbox was at zero, I have a whole notebook full of like, all right, well, your work is done for like other people. Now I got to do work for like my business or like me or whatever these are. Like I got to design my Twitch page or like just do little things like that. You're like, I got to do all these things, and I have the time.
And then Instagram's out here like, oh, let's change the whole app to ruin everyone's life, and you're like, oh, now I got to go figure out what's up on these other apps. So I
got to now relearn your entire progress because now your algorithm's changed for the 300th time, and the stuff that I've sold to people now really may not even work the way that I sold it to them.
Yep.
Yeah. Every day, bro.
Every single day.
It's
I've been learning that now. You know, I have some like lessons I did that are coming out. And not that many people are watching this, so I can say this next week or the week after. A video that I made with Skillshare where I teach Ludacris how to take pictures of food is coming out. Lots. One of the weirdest things I've ever done. Ludacris is super nice, but just a weird.
You do this with Skillshare?
Yeah.
I love Skillshare.
You should do a Skillshare. Truly.
I didn't even consider that.
You should do a Skillshare. Like maybe not with like JaVale or some of your bigger clients, but you should do one that says like how to not center yourself as a filmmaker when you storytell. I would watch that.
That's smart. I get people all the time who ask me like advice on stuff. Like I have this program now because we're in this pandemic where I've met so many people of color, so many kids who just got out of school who had things lined up, right? Who were supposed to go work for teams or companies, and their whole internships got shut down. And they're just kind of sitting there just creating stuff on their own, but don't really have a sense of direction. So I kind of started this very loose program of like, hey, look, I'm looking for people to kind of help me out with like odd projects, hype videos, things that it would take off my plate, but at the same time allow them to create something for a client. And if you help me out, like obviously this is going to help you build that portfolio you should have already had. And as much as I want, and like my biggest worry is like, I'm trying to build this up so much that I'm like, all right, now I got to make more money on this end so I can start paying these kids because they're doing great stuff, or somehow help them get that job that they're looking for because a lot of kids just can't find it right. But give it like that whole giving them that sense of direction right now has been key because I didn't realize how many people were lost when all this happened, especially the younger kids. Like were lost, dude. Like I had no idea.
No, I mean, I believe it. At least we have stuff to do.
Right.
But you know what else really validated me? As to kind of touch on your point, there are a lot of our friends and people that we've worked with adjacently that I would have thought have way more secure jobs and all this stuff we're doing. Furlough came and everybody was, "Ooh,
bro,
job's gone."
It was crazy to see how dispensable a lot of our friends were to a lot of companies. To when like I've seen their work and I'm like, really, you are? Like you're a voice of an entire brand. They let you go? Who's the voice now?
Drop them. And
it wasn't like, hey, sorry. It was just like Corona. Like it was like just hit you with a shrug. It was just like Rona. Like sorry.
There's people I know that were running like luxury hotel brands, and they were like, just like, I was like, yo, this is so savage. Man, I'm serious. And it was one of those things where like I've always felt that fear, like, man, maybe I'm messing up. Maybe I should be like working internally and doing whatever. And Corona was a really quick reminder how dispensable we can be and how we've been in the past. Like it's really amazing. And I think you said this to me before, like, you're working at Buildling for yourself, and like that Cole lyric where it's like we're gonna live forever. Like you're like, even let's like pause all the other cool things you've done. Let's think about the idea that without what you did, were the NBA and WNBA players in the bubble, all we would have was that like normal kind of boilerplate, whatever ESPN was sharing us. Not that ESPN's bad, but just, it's a Disney company and we're talking about the bubble. And then, whatever tweets people had, because remember when we were going to go and people were like, feels like I'm going to war, feels like I'm going to jail. And people are like, man, you're being dramatic. And I'm like, are they being dramatic though?
But are they? Like, they're saying, like, that's why, and it's crazy. It's funny you said that. That's why I edited JaVale's thing, his very first video, the way I edited it, because all you saw were people were like, what's up, guys? Excited to be here. Welcome to Orlando. Basketball's back. These dudes were hugging their kids like they were doing a bid, like literally like, hey, I'll see you in 90. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, they're going to only play, and everyone's like, they're only going to play basketball. They're being dramatic. I'm like, bro, imagine your job sent you, and again, these are just the athletes. Imagine your job sent you to go live somewhere for 3 months, but you couldn't see your family. You could barely talk to them as it is. Yeah. Everything you did was in secret. You know what I mean? But the videographer for the Lakers is one of my good buddies of mine, and you got to think about, like, those type of people sacrificed 3 months of their lives, and they didn't get raises. They didn't make millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? The companies are now telling these guys, like, hey, sorry, we don't have money for promotions this offseason because of Corona. But thanks for spending almost 4 months of your life in a bubble with the NBA. Super cool experience. Congrats.
It's madness.
That congrats ain't gonna pay my bills or like make up the time I lost with my family, especially if family members got sick or if they lost somebody or like things of that nature. How many people there was? I think publicly there was maybe 5 or 6 players who had family members who got Corona. And they left the bubble for a little bit. There were way more guys than that. But basketball was more important to the world because it was a distraction, and that's what happened with the whole, obviously the Black Lives Matter stuff and some of my camera, but guys were like, we're not going to play basketball no more until at least this gets knowledge, because now we're just too much of a distraction to the world, and it's nuts. So seeing how this whole thing has taught me, like, because again, a year ago I went on my own, so I couldn't imagine if starting on my own when this all popped off. Like,
yeah, no. Think about the timeliness of that. If you waited another year, what would have happened?
And that was what's crazy is my original plan was this. My plan was gonna leave Golden State in February of 2020. Is that my entire plan was I'm gonna leave Golden State 2020, move to Chicago because the All-Star game was here. Move here, start my stuff up. Corona happened March 13th. The shutdown was March 13th. NBA All-Star game was, I think, February 20th. So if I had done that, I'd have been ass out. There's no way I could have done what I've done.
Nope.
So there's a lot of luck in there for sure, but at the same time, it's just a lot of craziness. Like, how the hell did that happen?
Listen, man. So for anyone that is watching this later, Devin, I guess people think Devin is cool because he used to work on video. I don't know the exact word. Was a director for the Golden State Warriors. But I met Devin through some other friends of ours in the Bay, and I respect him even more because he lives in Chicago, and we all know Chicago.
Yes, it was through that, but I think the main thing was through the Adobe thing.
Yes, actually through the Adobe thing. I forgot. My bad.
The Adobe.
I remember nothing.
The first time we met, but I met you personally because you came with Meredith to the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I got to talk to him anyway. Cool, bet.
Yeah, and so, just so y'all know, I have been streaming on Behance for a couple of months now, but Devin, I just switched to this program called StreamYard that allows me to stream simultaneously.
Yeah, I'm on it. Obviously, I'm on it right now, but I use this for a lot of production stuff. It's amazing.
Dude, it's great. It's so much better than what I was doing. Anyway,
yeah. And you're on multiple platforms right now, right? You're on YouTube right now. You're on where else? Periscope,
YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and then on Behance. And I like it because essentially, oh wow, hey, so Devin and Behance, Trisha Kennedy says maybe you have a really good internal compass. Maybe it wasn't luck at all.
Oh, maybe.
But yeah, I think the point I'm making about the stream is that I found that, people are going to ask me their Lightroom questions regardless. But I personally find it so much more restful to listen to the spirits of people. And I think Devin is great. If y'all don't follow him already, I have had his Instagram lurking right here, but let me switch it to his Twitter in case you want to see some more things. But this was not planned. I just harassed Devin for a second.
At all. I literally saw your Periscope, was watching it, and I was like, oh, he's on YouTube. I'm just pull up on YouTube.
And so yeah, I mean, I guess what I want to say is that, like, there's a have you seen Tambourine, the Chris Rock stand-up?
I have not.
He has this part. There's a couple parts that are pretty funny, and honestly, it was really nice. Yo, what up, Mr. Anai? Yeah, Devin's G. We know what it is. There's a part. Watching it after George Floyd died is actually very restful in a way, because the whole opening is about like how police officers aren't a job where you can just accidentally murder people. He's like, it's just not. That's not how it works. But he has this part that is awesome, where he just talks about, like, he's like, I tell my daughters every day before they leave the house, once you step out these doors, no one gives a F about you. Nobody thinks you cute. Nobody thinks you smart. Nobody cares about you at all except the people in this house. And even them is kind of, And it's one of those things that, like, I'll never forget it, because that's, I think, the thing that took a long time to understand, right? Being people of color, we're taught work, and America's going to respect you at some point. And if they don't, at least you got your hard work.
At least you got it. Yes.
No, Corona's reminding you, like, nah, bruh, good luck. You know what I'm saying? We'll replace you and we'll keep it moving. And it's happened to a ton of people. And so if anyone's watching this right now, when you're working on stuff, it's about how you translate your own vision and what you want to do over time. Like, none of these people care about you, man. I've been in New York long enough now. I see people get fired for, like, undescribed, like, completely indiscernible reasons, man. Like, I had a friend who would move to San Francisco for a job from New York. They had her sign a lease, do all this stuff. She worked there for 3 months. They fired her because of some politics with somebody else. And so whatever you do, and make sure you're protecting yourself. Don't be a dick about it, but everything you work on, document it, share it. You are just as important as that brand, and like how you share your work is important, because over time, like, you're showing that you can translate a vision. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's great that you work with Nike, but, like, congratulations.
Trust me, like, if everybody knows it's me, right? Like, I've never been comfortable at a job, and I think those last 2 years I'd gotten real comfortable with Golden State, but I had known, like, my time was coming. Like, I had an idea, and then sure enough, I come back from my sister's wedding, like, hey, going in a new direction, this and that, and I'm like, what? How's that even possible? And then we get there, and then I get the reason we're departing ways, and it's like, well, you just got kind of like too close. You got too close to players for people's comfort. I was like, that was my entire job. The reason you hired me was because I was the only person that looked like the players. And now all of a sudden you don't want that. And now, of course, like, now it's just this whole, lack of a better term, a shit show of why, like, their content numbers have gone down. Like, players don't really mess with people. Like, it's all this stuff. And people, I still, to this day, this has already been a year. I'm getting hit up like, bro, like, why did you leave? What happened? Like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, yo, they just want a new demographic that fit the San Francisco brand, and black ain't it. So good luck with that, bro.
And it happens all the time. And the worst part is they got y'all playing like ball players, working like ball players.
Working like ball players, not playing like a ball player.
Brad Dredd.
I'm at your practice. I'm at your workout. I'm at the place I probably shouldn't even be at. Here's your $55,000 in the San Francisco Bay Area. And you're like, dog, like, Whole Foods laughs at me when I walk in the door. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like you got me shopping at what is it called out there? Oh my god,
The Safeway. What's out there?
Was it called Safeway? No,
I don't know.
I can't remember that. I can't remember it, but it was essentially the equivalent of like a Jewel Osco out here in Chicago. Like it's like your hood grocery store, and they're like, yeah, you got enough to come up in here. Enjoy these lean cuisines, my guy.
It's tough. It really is. I don't know, man. I don't know what our solution is. We're marching towards something dangerous. I'll tell you that. But I'm not sure that we personally are going to solve it.
But back to because I definitely just hijacked your entire stream. But to your, were you working on a new Lightroom or Lightroom Classic? Because it looks like
I'm working on new Lightroom.
Do you like this option better than Classic?
I like it better, but let me have a couple caveats. So since I work with Adobe a lot, they are kind enough to give me a lot of cloud storage. So like if you go up here, you'll see that I have 5 terabytes versus whatever the normal size is for other people, which can be really expensive. Just a quick side note for anyone watching: if you use Lightroom Classic, that is like hard drive based, and the Lightroom flagship product is cloud based. They both require you to back things up. So whatever you do, make sure you follow a 3 backup system that I'm sure Devin uses. You have things backed up online. So with something like Backblaze, which I use, you have a hard drive that you have here physically with you. That's probably a solid state that isn't likely to break. And then you have another hard drive that lives somewhere else in case your apartment burns down or something. You can leave it at your mom's house. Something like that. But that is the system. I know people ask me about it a lot, but please, for the love of God, do not lose all your files because you had one crappy drive that you bought off your friend that was 3 years old.
That sounds like a very specific story.
It is. It is. And people are like, can you help me get this back? I was like, what do you think my job is? I do that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Can you bring that back? Who do you think I am?
Yo, let me call up Let's See real quick. Hey, yo. I need y'all to do something for me. No,
I have. I always put my finals on Dropbox. Mm-hmm. I have a hard drive. I have 2 hard drives that I have, so I have my like backup, and then it's just like this is like my main work one. Shout out to the wifey for the sticker, but like,
ooh, that's a cute sticker.
Yeah, bro. So she did. I'm gonna show you. So she did this sticker, right? So Ball's life. She did. Let me see if this will work. She made me. It's gonna be upside down, but come on. She made me like this Wolverine.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Just a solid state. You know what I mean? So this is, and I name them certain superheroes because like this is gonna be my workload this week. So like Wolverine's like my like on the road workhorse, stay alive. Venom is like my other workhorse.
That's so awesome.
I got. Let me see. She just heard me talking about him, so she just called.
Wait, can I say what's up? Where you at? I haven't seen you since we in Chicago, girl. Where you at?
Oh, yeah.
I'm on his live stream right now.
Oh.
So.
Hey, what's up?
Just making decals.
Making decals?
Yeah, okay. I was making some more Christmas stuff, but.
Ooh, I see that Cubs pullover you got on.
Well, let's go. No big deal.
They have the rent, so I'm okay with that. They have the rent. Let's see what else.
That's the best one.
And my business one.
Oh yes.
This is like, hey, if I send you an invoice, it's coming from this.
Can you? What was I gonna say? Is there a link to her crafts or anything you want to share?
What do you want, man? The IG.
Yeah.
It's called Cussing While Crafting on Instagram.
With a G or cussing with no G?
With a G.
She's got proper English here.
Oh, sorry. Listen, cussing is a very specific word.
No, look, I'm with you.
In my mind, it has no G. Oh no. Your boy Joe's in here, Devin.
Sure.
Nah, Joe Jotham.
Oh, John Love Jones.
All right, y'all boys. Here is this is lovely. I see you, Jordan.
I just started it like 2 weeks ago, so I'm gonna get these logos on here.
Oh, it doesn't always go with, but a White Claw and a good F-bomb can fix anything. Lord of mercy. So, Jordan, real quick, because I'm always about plugging everyone and everything. If someone's trying to, what are the things that you craft and do, and what should I know?
A little bit of everything. So obviously with Christmas coming up, but I just made some engagement gifts for a friend. So I can do it from that to if you see a funny sign or you come up with an idea. Mr. Dismang was going to buy stickers off of Amazon, knowing how crafty his wife is. So
you ain't got to put my whole name out.
Maybe it's because he loves you and didn't want you to work anymore. That's fair.
I'm sitting here waiting for crafts. But yeah, I mean, if there's something you're interested in, I can do t-shirts, I can do bags, I can do decals for laptops or suitcases. So just hit me with a DM. But the dog is being a diva right now, so I apologize, but I'm gonna have to take him out. But I appreciate the plug. It was wonderful seeing you. He's gonna keep raining this entire time if I don't take him out. That's the only reason I'm bouncing.
Gotcha.
Oh, it's okay.
So yeah, he's halfway out the room.
You got
Bye. Good to see you.
Bye.
You got him.
Wow, she called you by your whole government name.
Whole government.
I was tight. I was like, did I do something wrong?
I was like, taken aback. Home plan hanging you out. Yeah, no, she hit me with those. So this is that other backup one, you know what I'm saying? So this is the one that stays with everything. Here, what else she gave me? She gave me like this is like for like taxes and shit. So like, you know.
Wow. Oh, I see. I like how you it's really clear to know, because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one definitely would be to make sure the government.
And then like this is for like, I think this is like family stuff. So like, you know, just keep it one theme. I always wondered, like, I don't understand like Samsung or someone hasn't teamed up with Marvel to make like hard drives with like that, because I know people go crazy. But I was thinking like having all my hard drives without some sort of like definitive thing that I knew what it was. And like now I'm like, all right, I know my system.
Nice, man.
That's
Is that the PS5 or the 4 back there?
No, I'm broke. That's my Xbox. So I use my Xbox to like watch football.
Oh, it's not broke at all. Come on, man. I mean, listen. It's kind of like the coronavirus vaccine. I'm not getting the first PS5 or the first coronavirus vaccine. I'm waiting a whole year.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing overheating, making me into a zombie. I've seen I Am Legend. I'm good.
Bro. The thing is about the PS5 is you see they're bricking. Like a lot of them are like not working. To get it to or like for me, and you probably seen this on like Malik's joint, like Miles Morales game was like glitching, and I just can't have that. Like if I play that game, it has to be perfect. So like if I get in there and I'm swinging as a garbage can, I'm gonna be like real tight. So I'm gonna be a patient gentleman and get it and let my friends kind of go through the bugs for me, and I'll just laugh on the back end but kind of cry too. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's because growing up, like, I mean, I was playing PS2 when Xbox 360 was well out. Like, I got my first Xbox 360. This is a really unnecessary story, but I was an RA in college. And if you remember, to combat how Apple would give iPods to, I think you can get an iPod when you got a new Mac when you went to college. Remember?
Yes, they double up. Yep.
Microsoft started doing it with certain laptops where you can get an Xbox 360, which was a good idea. And I remember I had an Xbox from I graduated high school in 2009, so from probably 2007 until maybe my 2010 or 11 when I was still in college, I had an Xbox. So I was playing NBA Street Volume 2 and just like being broke. It was fun.
All right.
Great game. Anyway, I had a resident one summer who came in with an Xbox and bought a laptop and had a second Xbox 360.
Tough.
Then 3 months into the semester, or 3 weeks into the semester, there's this one really steep hill at University of Florida. And he was trying to longboard down it, and when I tell you, he was badly injured. He fell off and was completely scraped up real bad and shattered his laptop. Utterly destroyed it. It was. So his parents, of course, bought him another one because, what is money to this kid? And so he got a third Xbox 360.
So you got a third one.
So he was just like, oh, I don't know if I don't need it, whatever. And so I'm pretty sure the deal was he gave it to me for I think $80 or $100 or for free or something like that. But the only rule was him and the rest of my residents could name my gamer tag. And I was like, I don't care. Here. And it was a great trade. I'll stand by it to this day.
Bro, that's nuts. That's
It was nuts.
We love the new apartment.
There is a bit of a
what's
clogging
going on with my
problem.
computer right now.
Oh, I don't know. It's probably running an ad for you.
Yep, sure was. I was like, what was that?
I know that it's probably that Geico ad. Like,
It
it's
definitely
like,
was.
yeah.
It definitely was. I'm like, what the hell is this noise? Oh, man.
But yeah, no. Out of curiosity, I forget. Are you an NFL guy? Are you about to watch some football?
Yeah, I'm about to put a game on right now, actually.
Who are you rooting for? Are you a Bears fan? Are you a?
I guess you could say I grew up a Bears fan.
I guess you could say.
I mean, and also apologize to everybody. I don't have like Sunday ticket because we keep it very, very broke around here. So I'm about to rip a free stream in the background.
Hey, do you?
But like I worked for the Bears as a kid when I was like 15, 16.
Mhm.
And where the hell is my remote actually? So I grew up like rooting for them because they were actually good. But then, remember I played football in college. I went to Eastern Illinois, so played football in college, and then
Eastern Illinois?
So then I started.
What position do you play? I didn't know that. I did know that actually.
I was outside backer and fullback for
Okay.
my junior senior year because I actually started at a D3 school in Naperville, on North Central, my
Mhm.
freshman year, and then I was like, man, this ain't good. It's always like a liberal arts college. It's like 8,000 kids. Like I thought it was a good idea because my mom really wanted me to go there, and they had offered me like a lot of money to go there. So I was like, all right, cool. Like free school wasn't for me. Like it was too close to home. Like my first choice I really wanted to go to, it was either between Michigan State and North Carolina. And then they were like, yeah, you could like do walk on, but you're not gonna get money. And I'm like, all right,
You
cool.
were like,
I'm like, you must forget what my skin tone is. And I was like, nah, so I'm gonna go wherever the money is. Went there, hated it, and then I transferred to Eastern that next year.
Mhm.
And then it just took like a year to kind of figure out life, and then walked on that next year. But the reason I say that story is because at that point I had known a lot of guys who started going to the league at that point.
Mhm.
Like one of my
league or the NFL?
NFL.
Okay.
Like one of my teammates was Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously plays for the Niners now. And then when I left, there was this kid named his name is Kamu Gregor-Hill, who's now in Miami, I believe. But he used to play for the Eagles.
He is. As a Miami Dolphins fan, I know who that is.
Yeah. He's very like I met him, but we didn't play together. He's super good though. And then I'm about to watch this Patriots Houston game.
Let's go Patriots. As a Dolphins fan, I need that pick to be as bad as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a matchup of black QBs, and I love Cam, but I also have Deshaun in my fantasy league, so I gotta.
I never thought I'd ever root for the Patriots, but I really want Cam to do well. It's a conflict because it's weird now that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are separated. I'm like, I don't despise Bill as much.
Like, and that's what I've always wondered: do people despise?
I think we lost Devin. I don't know. Let me see. I'll check another stream. I don't know. Yeah, I think we lost Devin, y'all. Sorry, y'all. He's back. He's back.
There we go. I have no idea what just happened. My whole thing.
I have no idea. You just rose up. So you were talking about do people really? And I think you were about to talk about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Yeah, I said, do you think people dislike Bill more or Tom more? And I said, I just think people dislike Tom more.
All right. So a couple things. I don't respect how. Oh, real quick, y'all. I took these as an example. If you're ever shooting in a studio, make sure that your shutter speed syncs properly with your lights. So if you look over here really fast, you see that I'm at 160th of a second. if you go too fast with your lights, with your shutter speed, like here, you'll see that you're getting this black curtain. It's because your shutter is going faster and your lights can go. And if that happens, you're going to get these black lines. So just make sure, just like I did here, that you give your shutter speed is slow enough so that you give your lights enough latitude to do work. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. I don't know, man. Like, my beef with Tom was always that, okay, I think Aaron Rodgers is better than him, and I don't really feel any way about that.
From a talent standpoint, you're saying?
Both ways. I think Aaron Rodgers is far superior to him, and it's not close, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Now, that isn't even because I'm a Dolphins fan. Like, respect to Tom Brady, them for winning and stuff. I will just say, if you get caught cheating more than once, like, what are we supposed to say to you? I think Bill is very good, but like Nick Saban, I get frustrated with this smug, like, how dare you ask me questions and being my orbit energy. It's like, I mean, your job is to coach football, dude. Like, you're not the president. Calm down. And then second, like, I mean, come on. How many black coaches you know could walk around in cut off sweatshirts and like not like, you know, it's not
get a not professional, like,
it's not real. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, that's a very kind of a white privilege type of thing for sure.
But I appreciate the fact that they're all business, they work hard, you know what I'm saying? As a Heat fan, I definitely feel like on some level the Heat organization runs like that, where it's like, yo, you work and people work and it's nothing personal, you do what you can, right? But on the Tom side, my beef with him is like the whole, like, I'm not going to endorse Trump and I'm going to put a hat in my locker is like, come on, bro.
Weird. That's weird.
It's just soft. Like, lean into it or be quiet.
Yeah. Like, you can't just be a soft supporter. Like, nah, especially for somebody like Trump.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
be loud or shut up.
He lost his when he forgot the fourth down a couple weeks ago, and then he was like, I didn't make a mistake. It's like, yo, my bad. Like, it's okay.
But Chris Webber called a timeout, and that was a huge mistake. So, like, let's relax. You can't just get away with your Tom. You know what I mean?
Like, I want Tom to do well in Tampa Bay to prove that he can.
Yeah,
I also want Cam to do well because I like the idea of Cam being with a place that can use him properly. It was really disappointing to see. I mean, they did what they did to a lot of our friends in coronavirus. They're like, oh, I know you won the MVP, and, you know, I know you've, like, tried to die for us, but I don't know about all this.
Hey, bro, look, I know you went through 13 knee surgeries. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you took us to a Super Bowl. It's crazy because even the Cardinals, like, social side, I'm the Cardinals, like, Panthers social side, I wanted to say Carolina, the Panthers social side even put, like, who is the greatest Panther of all time? And they didn't even include Cam. Like,
and they didn't include Cam. Bro, I was tight.
It was like Luke Kuechly and, like, Greg Oden and fucking Jake Delhomme. And, like, I was like, bro.
Jake Delhomme. Man, y'all want me to commit some violence. Man, if I was him.
And thank God Twitter, that's the times where I'm like, I'm glad Twitter does its job. Because Twitter was like, you missed somebody. Like, recently the Nuggets did it similarly. Like, they did, like,
no Melo.
Yeah, they did it with Melo and they did it with Allen Iverson, ironically. They were like, who was the best, like, guard, I think they said point guard. And it was like Jamal Murray and, like, all these other guys. I think it was like Andre Miller, Chauncey Billups, and Allen Iverson wasn't included. So people were like, AI, like, and then their next one was like the best shooting guard, and they put AI in there. Like, nah, bro, like, don't try to decategorize AI in this shooting guard. Like, don't you dare try it. You caught this one, but the thing with Melo was crazy because it was everyone was like, this gentleman right here, because you had prime Melo, them are the Knicks.
Carmelo. We forget. Carmelo and the Nuggets, when I was, like, still in high school, 2003, I was in middle school. The Heat won their first championship when I was still in middle school. I remember it.
Same.
Like, Melo, when I was in high school, was crazy.
Bro. Melo, I would watch, like, people were always, like, hyped on LeBron. Melo high school highlights, different. Melo high school highlights were different, bro. Sorry, I'm trying to put this, like,
no, you're good.
SD card in this Henge doc.
It's all good. I'm enjoying this. I'll only keep you for like 10 more minutes. Don't worry, my bad, man.
Good, bro. I'm not tripping. Like I said, I'm just going through. I'm just trying to download footage from these shoots and figure this out. But
you get the
so when we shot these photos, this was in the studio.
Yeah, this was in a studio for this class that I'm doing with Moment Lens. That was just they seem like really basic, but it's because I was teaching and shooting simultaneously. So I was saying like, hey, here's a light here. So like here, between here and here, I was showing you how to add diffusion.
Yeah.
And like what these mean. And I tried to have my friends there so that it was easier to show. Because I think sometimes when people show how-tos and it's like, anyway, so I shot this with Giselle. And you're like, okay. So how do I do this with normal people?
Yeah, right. Like, how do I do this with like a regular person? And I think one of the things I like about what you do, and I think you've talked about this, is a lot of people don't know how to photograph people of color. Mm-hmm. And you can tell, like, when you see the photos. Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess I wanted to ask you about that. Like, as a person of color, what did it mean? What does it mean to you to help just put high quality content of people of color out there that isn't just like, and this is no shade because I enjoy rap music and I obviously love basketball and football. Right. But, what does it mean for you to be in charge of sharing humanity?
I think the biggest thing for me is, apologies, I look away. I'm just starting this download. The reason I do what I do, really, the reason I started was because my last 2 years in Golden State was I saw essentially the dehumanization of the black athlete, like going live. Like, love Kevin Durant to death. That's one of my guys. I try to talk to him often, whatever. How people talked about him his final year and a half there was crazy. And it wasn't because of like, I had never thought he was a bad dude. I always had great interactions with him. It's because he knew what he wanted, but people try to treat people wanted him to act like Steph when he wasn't Steph, right? Like, Kevin knew what he was going to do. Kevin was going to do the way he wanted to do. When that didn't fall in line with, the people who aren't color, you're not POCs, like, they deemed him as trouble or deemed him as dramatic or deemed him as all these things. And I noticed this from afar because, like, I would also see this in, like, offices. So I'm like, I don't think how much I can do this from a corporate lens anymore. So it became really important to me to be like, yes, everyone wants to work with athletes, but you got to be like, you need to learn how to tell, like, the black athlete story in a way that humanizes them a little bit more than you would like your baseball player, like, or your hockey player, because they're always going to be different in regards to that. Because not every black person grows up in the ghetto or grows up in rough times. Like, some people have very affluent lives, but at the same time, they're black. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what your financial situation was.
They broke Thabo Cephalosha's leg, bro. There's no other argument. For anyone who doesn't know, Thabo was on the Hawks. They shattered my man's leg. Like, let me be. An NBA player broke his leg. That wrongful, that lost wages suit, that hits. They tased Sterling Brown. They called.
I was just about to say Sterling Brown, but they roughed him up going to a game to do his job.
So just make sure we're clear. And it's not just like blackness as in conflict with the police. It's blackness in conflict with America, right? Yeah. And so what you're talking about is very, very fair. The same way Tom Brady doesn't have any burner accounts, but he's an emotional dude, and that's okay.
But he gets passionate.
Only weird thing about Tom is that he kisses his kids on the lips. That I will never.
Yeah, we got.
That's super weird. There's no way around. Like, you can't talk about
it, kid, bro. Like, come on, son.
That kid is like 9, bro. What are you doing? Okay. Anyway. But your point is a very accurate one. It is important to humanize athletes, because I was just showing Lydia and I were watching the ESPN Broke 30 for 30 because I just wanted her to see that one, and it talks about just even Kevin talked about this in the boardroom, like what happens when Kevin Durant. I didn't mean to like talk about this for first.
You definitely like one boy Kevin. That's hilarious.
No. Well, yeah, sorry, y'all. I don't know Kevin at all. But he talks about this, like the idea that people put your money out there. So this idea that, like, dance for me, you know what I'm saying? We pay you, even though we don't. And you should have that energy for police officers, but instead it's for the concept of demanding entertainment from someone that I guess there's some sort of like entitlement for, but the truth of it is that that person's job is valuable because that's what our society deems it as. So you can't beef with him. You got to beef with yourself because the media is a reflection of what we desire.
Yeah. And it's every time people ask me to do stuff on the athlete, it's like I got a request today and it's like, hey, just have him throw this up on the story. I'm like, this is the most corporate thing you could have sent me. I'm not going to have him throw this up on a story. Why? Well, it's just a story and we're paying him. You know, I'm like, oh, you don't have to include that last part. By any means, I'm telling you, like, would you put us up on your story? Well, no. But if they paid me, I would. I'm like, yeah, it's different for you because of obviously who you are, what your role is. Like, he's got a lot of voices. So if you want him to be like, because people want to put like Black Friday sales up on their IG stories, and you're like, bro, like no, like this isn't how this works. Like, just because they make a lot of money, like dance for me, like nah. Like that's the frustrating part because I'll work with those people who think that way. And the one thing about these athletes that I tell people all the time is they're not actors. They didn't go to film school. You can't just throw a camera in front of them and expect them to perform. Like them performing basketball on a court is much different than performing a line or a skit or that. Like they are practicing that day in and day out to play basketball.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then you can just film around it. They're not doing that with acting. So if they like, oh, he's just kind of stiff. I'm like, yeah, one, because you don't know how to work with it. You don't know how to direct an athlete on camera because you're trying to direct them as a model or a actor or someone who's done this before. You have to really dumb it down, for a lack of a better term, and be like, listen, I need you to just be yourself. I'm going to just say things in a certain way that make you feel comfortable, and they're just going to be filming. Like, don't worry about where the camera's pointing. Don't worry about putting your eyes this way. Don't worry about none of that. They're going to take care of that. You just worry about talking with me. And that's the biggest thing, man.
When we were shooting that Kyle Quinn Lululemon thing, I remember the day was stressful
because Kyle Quinn is great.
He's super nice, really nice guy.
Great dude.
I really enjoyed working with him.
I love how he's gotten into photography these last like 3 years.
What was I gonna say? That day, it was the beginning of coronavirus. That was my first big shoot during it, and so they insisted on having like a digital tech and a Zoom call going on all day that would then show the photos live to them. In Canada, it was a lot. Like, it was a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I remember the Digi she was getting really stressed. And Kyle came over to her right around lunch and he was like, "Bree, it ain't that serious, girl. This is a lot to sell some yoga pants. We're gonna be all right." And it was a nice moment because I think it was like nice to just remind people, like, yo, like, you know, like you said, like these aren't corporations, these are people. And if you don't handle them properly, like, then they're not going to get what you want. And they still don't want to get what you want because this isn't a professional model. So like on your point, our call sheet, I remember we were going over it in the morning and Kyle looked at me, we had just met and he was like, "Do you write this?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "The bottom of this says Kyle does tricks on court and finishes with dunk shot." I'll never forget it. He looked at me like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "No, but I didn't write this."
Because they wanted him. What he wanted to do, they wanted him to dunk on camera in the.
It was weird because it said dunk shot. It was written weirdly, and it also like didn't like I say, it didn't like make full sense of what we were trying to do, and so he was just annoyed. And we talked about it. You back?
There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but so my follow up to that was does Kyle dunk? I don't think I've ever seen Kyle dunk.
Oh yeah, he dunked. He's huge. I forgot how huge he was.
I think they were thinking of like some stylistic, cool ass, like between the legs. Like, I don't know if he's got bounce like that anymore. Like, they're asking for the craziest stuff on shoots.
No, yeah, it was super weird. And then also they were like, "Hey, we're behind schedule," and I was like, "Yeah, because we're trying to shoot in his hometown, and random people are trying to come talk to him. This is what's going to happen if you shoot it here." And yes, it's because of coronavirus we're shooting it here, but like, I'm not going to tell this woman who came up to say hello to him that she can't be here. Like,
right, especially if he's cool with it, no chance.
You just like when I shoot for Kamal Show, I remember the producer the other day we were eating in Atlanta, and I was supposed to get us back to set, and I was like, "Hey, Grady, like I'm late." And he was later. I talked to him, and he was like, "Look, man, you're working with a grown man. Like if he wants to, he's gonna come when he wants to come. So I'm not tripping." And I was like, "Thank you."
Right, you're working with an adult. Like this is his thing. He gonna be here when he gets here.
It's like it's fully his thing. And we've talked about it before, but he'll say like sometimes he'll have people that work with him, PAs or something, and he's like, they don't seem to understand that I'm in charge. So he's like, if I say like I don't want to do that, and then people proceed to not listen to me, I'm not doing it. And it's just super interesting because you would think that if the show is named after you or you're the athlete that's the head of the commercial, like you wouldn't have to constantly be arguing. But
it happens all the time, every time. Anytime I do something with Vail, like we're doing a commercial suit, it'd be like, well, like you really don't want to do that. Like it would really add, like they're trying to convince him, like, bro, he's already said he doesn't want to do it. So like you need to adjust. Like the more that you push, the less amount of time he's gonna do it. And then if you even get them to attempt it, it's gonna be a terrible take, and you're gonna be even more pissed off about it.
Yep.
It happens all the time. I'm like, bro, do you want to do this? No, I don't want to do this. All right, cool. Next thing. I've had so many ideas that just don't even make it to the camera because they're like, no, that's just not me, or this don't feel like me. I'm like, all right, cool, bet. I'm just throwing it out there. Call it another day. Other people, we really want to do this one scene. We think it'd be cheesy but funny, and it's always some guy or some person who doesn't know how to work with players. Yeah. Like, let me tell you right now, this ain't gonna go over well. Why don't you think so? Because it's not his personality. We'll see. And sure enough, they pull up. Deb, why am I doing this? They said it's your personality. I'm just here. I'm just a regular dude, bro.
A regular dude who plays basketball and cares about it. And that's what it is.
I'm just a regular dude just trying to listen to you. I need to. I just bought my first flash the other day. I've never done flash photography. Actually, I'm gonna put that out there. It's the. My God, it's like the
speed light.
Huh?
The speed light.
This is it's a speed light, but it's this joint from Amazon that I watched like 5 videos on.
Okay.
This joint. Let's see.
Okay. Cool. It's a Tamron.
Huh?
Is it a Tamron?
No, this is a. I don't even. It's like a Japanese brand, Youngyo.
Yep.
It's like less than $100. I've never ever done flash photography.
So here's my advice for you. If I can get it out. Right here, right? First of all, always hold extra batteries with you. And this is a totally great thing to end on. So for anyone that is curious, let me put this in the chat.
Because you shoot on Canon, though, right?
Yeah, but it's the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so as I get this out, you had a question from.
I had a question?
No. Trisha said, "What's the difference in skill? What the difference in skill has been for you guys from learning from others versus learning on your own and from your own mistakes?" Trisha, for me, I just try to. I have a rule like you can do something for free 3 times, or until you know how to do it. And so sometimes, like last year, I shot my friend's music video because I wanted to learn if I could film or direct something. And so for me, it's just about practice. Like I feel like with the pressure on to a degree, I perform a little bit better. And so just like because I wanted to get into that, all those times I worked on set, I would take notes about what the directors were saying, what the DPs were doing, and then just try it. So sometimes just trying to be adjacent to something and then working from it was really helpful for me. I don't know if Devin speaks from that, but I would assume that experience is also a great teacher for him.
Yeah, again, I didn't pick up a camera until 25, so we're talking 5 years ago. Like I've always been like the idea guy. Like I was always like, I know what I want the final product to look like. I know how to write it out. But once we got to like the camera stuff, I had never known because to my point, I was like, there's people who know how to do it. I don't want to take away from it. But then I learned like, the more I know about how a camera works, the more I know about how the lenses work. Mm-hmm. I can now really think about a shot a lot thoroughly to then write that in and have it shot a different way. So that took a lot to learn from. And at the same time, at 25, not too many people are going to be like, yeah, bro, let me just bring you aside and teach you how to use it. I just had to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there are mentors, there are folks who are great at helping you out. I had a lot of great people that I worked with at Golden State who would take the time, like on the road, who would be like, "Hey, this is what your shutters should be set to. This is what your ISO should be set to. This is what this should be set to." Because I had no idea, and it just took a lot of reps of like thousands and thousands of bad pics or videos or whatever it might have been to kind of get to where I wanted to be. And for me, my mind works efficiently. So like whenever I plan something out, I want it to be like, how do I get the most done in the least amount of attempts?
Yep.
And learning something like video and photography, I feel like that's not possible because I have to take a bunch of shots to really test things out. And at first, that was my biggest hurdle to get over because I'm like, this is a waste of my time. Like, why can't I just do it? And I had to almost be like, no, you have to do this to get to this. It's just like you have to practice 800 hours to play that 40 minutes. And I'm like, all right. But it took me a lot of like getting past the mental block of that to do so. And again, YouTube was my friend. Like I watched thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on YouTube on like the most, well, probably might be remedial stuff to people, but just to see different styles. Because again, everybody shoots different. Everyone learns differently. There's visual learners, there's hands-on learners, there's people who like to read. Like I'm a combo, I think, of all three to where I need to read certain things, I need to watch certain things, or I need to try certain things. So that's, I think for me, it was like a healthy balance of those three. But I would say more of those types of things for sure. It's just
totally,
it's a process, bro.
Always with a good spirit. That's my favorite thing about you. So real quick, when you turn it on, almost all of them in the back, they'll have like a couple different things you can control. But generally, once you're using artificial light, first of all, obviously you want to test. So, which was kind of probably wild to do on the stream. I don't know if you saw that. It was wild. Let me wait.
No, I did not see that at all.
It's just a flash of light to test. So you wait until it lights up and lets you know that it's there. So you just took it. So the first thing to know is this angled system is your friend.
Yeah.
Right? So what I mean by that is this is the front of it. This is the back. So you always want to be aware of where you are in relation to walls and the ceiling. If you bounce a flash off anything but a white wall, what you're going to do is you're going to introduce random color. So like, let's say you're like in a hotel and there's like a velvet wall or whatever. When you bounce, that light's going to come back whatever color that wall is. But in here, I think up to 10 feet, you can bounce off the ceiling. And if you bounce off the ceiling, the light's going to cascade down a little bit more softly. And if you are next to a wall, all you got to do is just excuse me. You can just change your light so that if I know that this wall is right, there's a wall right here, and I'm photographing someone here, even better than photographing them straight on with the flash, using the wall to be a much larger flash or softbox is ideal for you. And so if the ceilings are 20 feet, you're not going to get any bounce, but if they're 10 or under, maybe 8, then you're in a really good spot. The other thing to remember is like this little thing right here helps you diffuse your light that pops out. You should have one.
Top?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I see it. I'm just trying to figure out how to get it out.
Yeah, pull it. You should be able to pull it up and then pull it out. There's two things. Sometimes it's this little guy that like essentially splits the light. That white card is much better. If you have the white card up, right, that little bit of flash you're gonna get. So essentially, if this is your light right here, your light's coming up and it's still gonna like disperse, but this little bit that's on that white card is going to bounce into the people in front of you and be softer than if you just dropped it right in their eyes. Because this low key is blinding.
Yeah, no, that's. Let me see. I'm just like taking fun of the mask.
That's super bright.
Oh yeah. That is how.
Something fun to keep in mind in the future. If you write this down, look at it later. Look how to change your change the curtain for your camera. It's a long story, but it's how you do like really fun long exposures where what you can do is you can set your camera to flash right when you take a photo and then right when the photo ends. And so Basically, curtain means when the camera opens, when it closes. So normally your flash fires in your first curtain, but you can change it so it fires in your first and second. So when it opens and closes, or only when it closes, and you can like do some kind of fun long exposure with that. We'll play with that later. But other thing to keep in mind, this is, you don't have to get one of these, and you can borrow this from me. It's called a Gary Fong. It's just like essentially like a big diffuser, and so it can just soften that light more. So it's not even like hard to make. It's just like a Velcro with plastic. But
this is what I saw somebody make, but they made it with like Tupperware and some other shit. I forgot what it was.
And it softens the light, so you can point it at somebody, and it is much more even. And since it's like bulbous here, instead of it just being like, it's like soft light. So like, for example, let me see if I can do this. Ooh. I just pulled up Cussing While Crafting lulz.
Shout out to Cussing While Crafting one time.
Give me 1 second. I go to Tumblr for this. This can be kind of confusing sometimes because I forget where stuff is. But when I was in when I was in before the residency, I did a shoot. I did some shoots with Fashion Week, and so every day with the Fashion Week, I tried to do like a different style. And one day I did all flash. And so let me pull these up.
And you did this with a conscious thing?
Yeah. So every day I went. So like here I did like prism stuff. If you look at this, I'm not saying it's good as a video person, I know, but I'm just saying I just tried a bunch of this. They had like prisms and stuff obscuring the lens. The first day I did all like low light stuff, but here was just all flash. So like if you see like, the best way to tell is you can obviously see the flash, but it's not as hot in every spot on her face because I used the Gary Fong. Here, I just used the wall over here on the left, and you can tell because if you zoom in, you see this hard shadow the rail is making. That's because the light's bouncing off and going everywhere from that wall.
Where are you pointing at right now?
I'm pointing if I'm here and they're here.
No, I'm sorry, on your actual screen, because I think it's just like a gallery.
Oh, wait, can you see this? Oh, my bad. Hold on. I was
like, wait, he's talking about a specific joint. I just see this like fire.
My bad.
You're good. I'm going to make sure the people saw it, bro, because you over there spitting gems. I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop sharing. Yikes, that was embarrassing. Thank you, because I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay,
it just happens.
So
bro.
Here,
okay.
What I was saying is for this photo, you can tell that I bounced off this wall on the left because if you look really close, you see this shadow underneath the railing.
Yeah.
So that's because I'm photographing them this way. They're here. I'm using this to fire off the wall as hard as possible onto them because I thought it made like this kind of aggressive colored look.
This is like a very music type shoot, like vibe. Like this is what I would see like on an artist IG page for sure.
Oh, totally. And so you're shooting all this. Wait, no, this wasn't what I wanted to show. Like this also Telfair. Like I shot a bunch of these like super aggressive flash. Like it's supposed to feel like a mess.
Okay.
Like this Jesse Eisenberg looking dude.
I'll see these and they definitely feel like a mess, but like people love these.
Yeah, and so that's what I try to do every day. Is I was like, how can I make this? And you can tell it's flash because this is the artificial light here that's continuous, but then here you get this burst that's
and it's a different color almost. Like the further light's almost a yellow tint.
But yeah, it was just a lot of this. It was Fashion Week is weird. I personally wouldn't like to shoot it again, but I liked the process. And here you can see how the flash.
Don't talk yourself out of a job now.
That's true. That's true. You're right. But here you'll see like the distance of the flash. They're further away from me. I'm using probably an 85. And by the time we hit mommy, she's only getting a couple spots and they got nothing.
They got nothing back there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's totally like
this is directly at them essentially.
Directly at them with this on. So you can see the hot spot, but it's still softer than if you straight up just shot them with nothing else.
What are you shooting shutter wise on those?
That's a good question. I wonder if I can. I'll have to look. I'll have to try to find the photos and figure it out. But here I was probably shooting like super high ISO because it was so dark everywhere back there. But then I would guess, knowing me, I'd probably be at like 2.8 aperture, and the shutter speed I'd fill in after that. But I think just like the flash, you don't want to get your shutter speed too fast. So you're going to also time the flash out.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a problem here because it wasn't like I had all this light. I'm not shooting like an open dome at the Cowboys arena. Like there was no light in this room.
Right. That's what. So yeah, the more light you got to use, the slower your shutter's got to be. Then.
Mm-hmm. But it was cool. I really like the flash. I just don't use it as much. The thing that I think is cool is like, who uses flash well? Well, what are you trying to use it for?
I mean, I'm with these dudes. Like when these guys go out, or like, ironically, when they go out, like that's happening now. But a lot of their apartments have lower light. Like JaVale's apartment has like a very low, like yellow light from the ceiling. Also, the ceilings are like 15 feet tall. So like when I'm in there and I'm trying to shoot something, like, do I even have an example on my camera? Let's see. But like, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's got a lot of natural light behind him.
Mm-hmm.
But at night, when he's like gaming, it's impossible to do with natural light because it's also getting dark at 3:30.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to shoot. Well, I can't shoot photos at this point because everything I shoot is super dark on him. Luckily, he's light, but like, I don't also want to use. I have I just have like a Lume Cube light that I use for shoots from time to time, but I hate using that for photos because sometimes it's too harsh.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
flash, and I almost overspent because I was like, because Sony will be like, well, use our flash, but their flash is like $500. When I watched I think I watched like 10 videos on this one I got from Amazon. I'm like, bro, it's $85. Like, this thing's gonna be fantastic for what you do.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't need a $500 flash.
Nope.
What I'm trying to do.
The first thing I'd tell you is make sure, because your screen's gonna lie to you in that low light, that either you turn the guide light on your camera or you use just a tiny bit of light from your phone to make sure that you have your subject in focus before you start hitting the flash, because without realizing it, you'll accidentally do like this photo. It happened where by the time he came in, if you notice, this is what's in focus.
Yeah.
Not here. And I didn't realize without the guide light. And so I would say like the number one thing when you're playing with flash is like, no matter what anybody says, it's going to piss them off when you shoot it 7 times.
Yeah.
But if you like just make sure you know exactly what you want to get, you'll be in good shape. Like by like focusing, using the guide light to make sure they're in focus, that's definitely like a big W for you. And then after that, I like kind of leaning into how messy it looks. Like you want it to like, all right, you know that boogie photo? There's a photo of DeMarcus Cousins like in his 2nd or 3rd year where he's laying on all these shoes in his like closet or something. I think it's one of my favorite photos. And it's definitely with flash from high up, and it looks like a little messy, but like there's something like very human about it.
Yeah.
And I think you already do that when you shoot him and other athletes, but I would just say like, you can make it cleaner, but with a single flash, I think it's almost better to make it feel kind of grungy.
Yeah. I think one of my things I've been wrestling with lately is like Sony takes very, like their stuff comes out very grainy from time to time. So like for me, I like it. I personally like that look. Not everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll have, I'm trying to add it more to my repertoire essentially to where guys can be like, yo, I'll go take photos. But like people don't want their like, their daughter's birthday party photos to look like it has this grain filter on there essentially. So that's why I was like, let me cop a flash because then that'll help me add more light to it to fix that problem.
Let me show you. My friend Sasha does a lot of really beautiful stuff with low light.
Shout out to Sasha. Don't know her, but big shout out.
Oh, she's amazing. She's one of my favorite photographers. I'm not kidding. I actually went to high school with her, but she's a little older than me, so I didn't really talk. I love when it's like log in Instagram. Bruh, just go where I need to go. Stop snitching on yourself. All right, whatever. I'll go to her.
Stay snitching on itself, bro. I'm trying to see this DeMarcus photo you're talking about. I'll literally like scroll back on this entire dude's IG just to see if it's on.
Well, I don't know if it's on Instagram. If you just Google DeMarcus Cousins shoes, you should see it.
Right.
I don't know if it's on. I don't know if I've ever been on DeMarcus Cousins' Instagram. Yeah, so here she just like this is a high ISO and understanding where your found light is, and so maybe you use that Lume Cube further off to just be a guide light to catch his eyes.
Got it.
But it's like there's so much of that going on where you have to really trust your ability to focus.
Yeah, lighting is one of my weaker points for sure. Mainly just because like I'm so used to shooting in a gym, so my light's already there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So now when I have to find light, I'm not trusting myself to really find it.
So hold on. This is probably the best way to show you. All right, so if I'm JaVale right now, the only light you're getting is I have a window here, but it's a murky day, and then you're getting the light from my computer. It's not a lot. It's okay. At best, head on, you can get this catch light in my eyes, and from the side, you're going to start to get some that's kind of crappy. And so the first thing you notice, I have these two Elgato lights, but
you got the key lights?
Yeah, I have a key and a key light air.
I just bought the key light. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to know.
Oh, there's no interrupting at all. And so the problem is here, I'm using the key light air as my fill. Mm-hmm. And so even with this, it's not giving me a ton of great light. And so I almost am like trying to overpower myself to make sure the light is good by having a main first. Let me wait till this cycles, and then having a key after. And so if you think about his screen as like a what's the word? As like a vanity light. Yeah. Then I would say next use that Lume Cube higher up, maybe 3 feet above him and 3 feet away, and just keep it.
Now remember, you just told me to put it 3 feet above a 7-footer.
Yeah, but at least he's sitting. At least he's sitting.
Hopefully, yeah, ideally, yeah.
And if he's not sitting, basically what you want to do is like, since JaVale especially has his hair braided and stuff,
right?
I think shooting him in a profile is really lovely, and then just having your light be separate from a wall, but like at a point where it's like essentially like I'm trying to find an example. I don't know. I love that I'm trying to find one on someone else's website, but I'm already here. So
you're already here. So yeah.
So like even if the sun's setting and you the light is starting to get softer, you can place him in this window. And then, like, this light that's catching her eye here is over here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so the Lume Cube isn't going to give you everything you want. But even if you're not, like, let's say he doesn't want to use flash here, or someone doesn't want to use flash, you're essentially setting up a light setup where there is a main that's up and high, a fill that can be used by, like, whatever stuff that's going on in the club or going on, like, just around the apartment. And then lastly, use your key that's here up and high. Your fill can be anywhere. I think the key light would work. And then if you want to use a flash after, you can, but it might end up being like a little bit of overkill. I would just say that, like, if someone is intent on you getting pictures of their birthday party, I'm always like, let me get y'all before we go into this dark place.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
People always say they want to do that, and then they do it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, this is better."
Yeah, because then they're like, "We want to have the pictures in VIP. We'll get them, but they're gonna be flash. It's gonna be like this crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like harsher light."
Yeah, I mean, there's not like you're not gonna like win. It's just it can be like a dangerous situation because it can get so. There's so much confusing things. There's so much confusion going on in that space that it's hard for you to get exactly what people want. People want this like Miami Vice looking thing where they're always looking like they're having fun and like life is beautiful, but in actuality, like it's really hard to execute on that. And so, what do I want to say? Okay. So this is like this light that Profoto makes. It's like essentially a strobe for your phone. Your problem is that JaVale is so much taller than everyone, and so generally, without realizing, light's catching him like this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that, and so either you need to figure out some sort of mount situation, get him seated, or figure out a way to have that light just be enough above him so it feels like a natural situation where it's like far enough away like this, but not below where he is. If there's no light and he's gaming, you're going to get light from his face. Excuse me, from the screen. And then besides that,
no, I'm really 92% of the photos I take of that gentleman is him sitting down because or I am, my God, probably 5 feet in front of him, zoomed in on a 24/70 or 7200, just trying to get better angles of it because of how much taller he is into this world.
Here's what I'll send you. I love this article. It's about how they light for Insecure. And so first,
lighting.
Yeah, so Insecure, first thing they use these LED panels that are vertical, and they have them. So if this is 90 degrees, they have them about 35, 45 off of them to provide an extra bit of energy right here. What's the score of that game, by the way?
10-14 Houston right now.
Come on, Patriots, tighten up, baby. Right. Try to get this top 10 pick. So they talk about how they use
the Dolphins. What is their record right now?
6-3. We're playing the Broncos today.
Oh, that should be an easy dub.
Listen, Broncos beat the Patriots this year. I don't believe nothing's gonna be easy. I'm trying to listen. We've been bad for so long. I'm still like shell shocked. I'm still like we win games and I'm like, is someone cheating? Like, what's going on over here?
Wait, so are you feeling? I know this is off topic, but are you feeling good about Tua?
Yeah, I'm happy that he is. They're not trying to make him do too much. The team is winning games, and he's getting better with each one. I think that over time we have to admit that, just like with LeBron, you can't just be like, "Oh, LeBron's here now. We're winning everything." Like, if you have a trash coach and GM and trash rest of your team, bad things are going to happen. Poor Joe Burrow's running for his life right now. As we speak, Joe Burrow is running for his life. And you know what? Like, I'm happy that the Dolphins are trying their best, and maybe it works out for Tua, maybe it doesn't. At least the man get paid some money, and he can walk again.
I really want him to succeed, like bad.
Me too.
Like I'm glad he's like him on the Dolphins is cool, but like I just love his little story and just everything about him. So
I know he ain't black specifically, but I think he's black. So
he's black adjacent.
Him, Brian Flores, Chris Greer, we got a very black Miami Dolphins organization, and I'm very here for it.
He's black adjacent. I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. And like they just gotta get one chance. If they can win like one playoff game, if they win like a wild card game, that's it. You guys are set for at least 2 years.
Oh yeah. If they would have went, well, listen.
Like you win a wild card game, like they're gonna be talking about that for 2 years. And they're like, all right, year 4, he's good now. Like at that point, you'll be straight.
Let me pull this up.
I just don't want him to turn into RG3. That's my only worry.
Oh God, no, please.
I'm more so career-wise, not the person-wise.
No, I know. I need everyone to relax. Let's not run too much to let's throw the ball. One thing I'll say, he gets through the ball very quickly. He's like, I'm not dying for this.
I'm not dying for this.
No.
That's smart because most Miami guys would die for this.
If I was an NFL player, I would go out of bounds so much. People would be so mad at me. I'd be like, bro, I'm not getting hit for what? Half a yard? No, bro, I'm good.
My check got to clear. I'm straight.
It is a Super Bowl. Okay. Everything else, I don't know.
Like if I'm like if my bonus is I need another 10 yards for $100,000, I might fight for that a little bit harder. But if it's like, there's nothing really like, you know what I mean? Like and the thing is, there's a lot of running backs who think that way. I forgot who it was 2 years ago, but he was like, he got ticked off because he was, I think, 2 yards shy of like a $500,000 bonus. And it's because of coaches kept taking a knee or something. And he's like, coach, just give me one rush. Like, I need one rush for 2 yards. And he's like, nah, it's game. It's going to be back. Coach, $5,000, $500,000. I'm like, yo, me and that coach would have had some words. Because 2 yards? Bro.
Ooh, I would have been tight.
$500,000 and you couldn't get done. We fight. Me and him are fighting on site parking lot.
Oh yeah, no parking lot. Did you see that? That the Giants fired one of their coaches because he got in a fist fight with the head coach this week.
Yes,
that's awesome.
The dude was sick of his shit. It was like,
I'm trying to imagine like walking. We're players. We walk on like, oh yeah, man, let's get into.
I'm with you.
I guess we're done for the day.
Well,
the coach is scrapping. Yikes.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
But yeah, I really like this. So it talks about how they use like diagonal light a lot. And since it's a good point about Javale to think about this, using vertical light. So this one here, they have one to her right over here. And they have another one behind her over here, as well as a kind of crappy overhead light. That's like what clubs are. And then 2 pink lights. One on this side that's higher, and then one on this side that's higher. And so essentially, I don't know if you're going to be able to have this budget or this amount of space in the man's apartment, but if you can figure out a way to use like a vertical LED panel or two, just to give yourself a little bit more light, you'll be in so much better shape because the Sony can perform well in low light, but if you have nothing, you're in danger.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Is like everyone's like, yeah, low light. I think people are in the common like people who think what low light is much different than people in a production world think what low light is.
And so hold on, you can see it right here.
Yeah.
They just have the panels out, just making it super blue. But like it's tough because you don't have the ability to like light this man's house like you're filming every day.
Right. I'm gonna bring like 14 C stands and rise them shits up. Like for me, I think shout out to the makeup artist.
Shout out to makeup artist.
Because she is. I was just reading the caption about how they're just trying to make the light shine a little bit more fire. But I think for his, I'm really trying to get him because he's in the process of moving. So wherever his new place is going to be, we're going to set up his like. I'm hoping he gets these like the Philip Hue lights.
Yeah.
So that
you can then talk to.
I can really
wonder what the score of this Bengals game is. Ooh, 9-7. All right.
I can really play with him on those things and just try to get it. Because right now it's just super basic, and I'm just relying on daylight the whole time, and daylight's not our friend at this point.
No, not right now. The sun is out for 2 seconds. The sun is sick of coronavirus.
They said, did you see the photo somebody put of Jimmy Butler on the meme? It says the sun setting at 3:37. I was crying.
I love Jimmy, and I mean, as much as I love that he said, like, I'm gonna get one for us, we'll see. It's a tough time right now. I think the nature of sports is that there's only one winner, and let's say Jimmy can play at this high level for 3-4 more years. The path is mired with concerning things. But now that the Bogdan, I don't know how to say his name, the Kings, Bogdanovich didn't go through, and we never really know what's going to happen with the Nets. It's not. Oh, and the Celtics got a little bit weaker. It's not impossible, but it's just as confusing, and then the West is just as much of a buzzsaw. So,
I mean, Miami's going to be a top 3 team in the East the next 3 years if everything stays fine. It's going to be between them, Milwaukee,
the Nets, the Celtics.
I've never been confident to put the Celtics up there, just because they just seem to shit the bed regardless. The wild cards right now are always going to be like Philly and Toronto. Like those are going to be your 5, I think, that always do it.
If I'm James Harden, why wouldn't I go to Toronto? Sorry, just a quick side note.
That's a great question. I don't know.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm James Harden, I want to go to Toronto.
Bogdan go where?
if I'm James Harden, I want to go to Toronto. I wouldn't want to go to the Nets and fight Kyrie Irving. Like, I like both of them. They shouldn't play together.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think he would do pretty well there. Ironically, only because it's almost a similar situation at Golden State, to where if they all play their roles correctly that first year, it'll be straight.
Of course. But the argument is, like, how can you think about how long he's played like he's played? It didn't work with Kyle Lawson. It didn't work with Dwight. It didn't work with CP, and it didn't work with Russ. So you have to start to ask the question.
Hey, bro, is it you? That's the question. Hey, bro, just a question. Is it you? What else is this? Oh, sure.
And then I was really surprised with that Charlotte signing. No shade to him. I just was like, yeah.
Bible Belt got their hero, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know about that one.
I was shook. I was like, Gordon Hayward is good. I don't know if Gordon Hayward is max money for 4 more years good.
I think I'm more shook by how much money apparently there still is in the NBA, when I was just told literally, 2 weeks before this happened, that everyone was going to have to take pay cuts and players were going to suffer, and it looked like people got money somehow. So, I understand the side of that, but like you talked about, a lot of people just lost their jobs. So how are teams able to sign extensions for $200 million, $300 million, $400 million, whatever it is? I'm just like, bro, where does money come from? Because I was told you ain't had it till right now. So
one of our colleagues got furloughed during the playoff or before the playoffs, and then only was supposed to work playoff games. I don't really understand what the heck was going on with her contract. So
there's a lot of weird things that start happening. I think it's gonna be interesting to see, because from the front office side, those poor folks gonna have to work triple the amount of work over the next 3 years, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. My bad, stream. We're talking about a lot of real life stuff on top of photography tips.
It's all good. We're doing a great thing. Misty asks, I have a question. I started using Lightroom and importing pictures, and it used 50 gigs of memory.
Oh,
how do I transfer to external hard drive and get the space back? Misty, which Lightroom are you using? Are you using Lightroom Classic or using Lightroom cloud-based? If it's cloud-based, what you can do is you can just delete the photos. You can export them to a hard drive, and you can delete them from the cloud. But if you are using Classic and it is rooted on your computer, you can just move the source of your catalog. So your catalog is essentially like the root history for your website. So it tells everything where it is. But if you don't want to have everything on your computer, also you can get a flash drive, a hard drive, preferably a solid state, and then you can just have your catalog root from that specifically. So Missy says she's working on Classic. That means that you can use I use these whenever I do a specific job, but you can use any of these, and it can be where your where your catalog kind of pulls images from. That would be my advice to you: is get a solid state hard drive, get 2 of them, have them mirror each other, put one somewhere else, and then just don't have all your stuff import. So here, let me show you, and I will leave you with this because I've been dragging poor Devin's time all day as he should be doing other stuff. So hold on 1 minute. Misty, I appreciate the question. Also, once again, if you are curious about who this debonair and interesting gentleman is, this is the homie Devin. He is a talented filmmaker and director, and you can see his handle right here that pops up. And also, if you're watching me from Behance or someone shared it with you, my name's Andre LaRoe. You can find me by searching at Andre on the internet. So here we're going to go over and share screen. Just share this to you. So when you go to the Lightroom Classic module, it has folders here, and what it's telling you is this is rooting off of a hard drive. This color right here lets you know the hard drive's plugged in and it's working. Green is good. Has all these images. And what you can do is when you import, let's go to File, Import. I don't know if there's a CF card plugged in, but let's say if there's one. Okay, there is. You can go to EOS Digital. And then over here on the top of the screen, you see that it has these options that say copy as DNG, copy, move, or add. Instead, like copy, like it says, copies photos to a new location and adds it to catalog. Instead of going to your Macintosh HD, or if you have a Windows computer or whatever, you can go to your backups or any of your hard drives and copy directly from that. If you do that, then you are in much better shape because you can not have to worry about it taking up space on your computer. So that's all I mean. And then you just hit import. And if it's something where you don't want to move this stuff, you can go to copy, you can go to move, so it'll move it from that drive to somewhere else, or you can go to add, where it'll keep it where it is, but it'll add it to your catalog. And so if you have some photos on a hard drive you're just plugging in, you can add the photos to your catalog without moving them. But it's all about how you manage your data.
Data management.
Hopefully that answers your question.
You might need to do a whole stream on some data management, bro.
Data management is stressful for people.
Stressful. I need to get a server on my end. Like,
oh yeah, this Black Friday I'm gonna get a Synology.
That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about doing too. Because
it's stressful and large and low-key very expensive, but everyone I've spoken to said that it's the best thing for them. So I think that's where I'm going to go next.
I'm going to get it, and I'm going to start. I just redid my office, so
ooh.
This is like a this is an L-shaped desk. This is a standing desk that you're at right now. So I'm not going to stand up, but you're going to see me moving. And then that
was off to be like anyway. So I just got taller and shorter. What's going on?
Right. Because I want to set, because what I had before was like another L-shaped desk with like a bookcase, but everything was looking kind of like, for lack of a better term, childish. Like I had a lot of like toys out, like things of that nature. So like I would always get distracted with like random stuff. So I wanted to like separate my work stuff to be much more clutter free, which is like this angle. I have a window in front of me, plants. I have like a pegboard here with like actually I'm just gonna unhook my computer really quick and I can show you. So that it gives me different vibes and makes this area a little bit more work friendly. So I don't feel like a complete, like I'm always counting to get off to play like video games or stream or something. And I wanted to have some sort of like, if I ever bring like a client in here, which sometimes like athletes are in town, they want to hang out, or you know, we can game and stuff, but I'm gonna wait. So let me see if I can.
Ooh,
let me switch.
POV, I like it.
Yeah, POV.
Oh, is that the Emmys? Just so you know, my man's won them Emmy. I'm so sorry, I forgot to introduce you as Emmy award winning.
You're so
apologies, my bad. I meant no disrespect.
So wifey again, she like redid my helped read. I had like a vision. She helped me redo it. So like the shit, I just wanted to put my stuff on a shelf. So you have the tellies on top, the championship rings here, the YouTube play button, and then the Emmys there. But I wanted it to be like almost a focal point, because when you walk into the room, this is like the view when you walk into everything. So like that's how much is in here, essentially. But yeah, this is literally my favorite thing that I'm obsessed with now, is like this little pegboard to where like my batteries are going here. With differently charged batteries here. My drone stuff will go there. I gotta unpack my bags and stuff, but this is essentially my giant charging station.
Oh yeah, nice. I know that Anya Kopian did that, and I'm still
she was the inspiration behind that. I was literally just about to shout her out. She was the inspiration behind it. And then like you saw behind me is like all my streaming stuff. Here, and then obviously the game.
Nice.
There. So it's like all business this angle. When I turn around, I'm just like, game time.
Heck yeah, man.
You know,
dude, this was my pleasure. I'm gonna go eat some lunch. And
hey, thanks for letting me drive by into your stream.
Oh, not at all. This was super good. I found these to be like way calmer when I can just Like I heard some stuff from you that was good. People have been popping in, writing comments like this was like really cool to listen to. Never underestimate how valuable what you have to say is. It's funny that commercial going on behind you. Mark Clennon shot that. I don't know if you know.
I don't know who Mark is. Actually, but I love the editing on this commercial every time I see it.
Yeah. Mark is great. He shut up. Mark might be watching, maybe not. Let's see.
Yeah, his every time I see this, I always find the link for it online, which is it's always hard to find like ads online to like use as examples, because they're always programmed as ads. But I love the cutting of it for sure.
Interesting.
But yeah,
it's so funny watching it over your shoulder because I'm like, oh, I know that commercial. I saw it last week. Sorry.
You're all good, brother. You're all good.
Dude, to let you go, Misty says she loves the painting on your wall. Of course you do. It's Chicago, Kanye, Jordan ones. I'm seeing Spider-Man back there, Black Panther.
Yeah, so this is essentially a photo of how do I explain who I am in like the most chaotic way possible. And my friend out here, his name's Rico the Great. Follow him on IG, same name, Rico RECO the Great. And then he does paintings like this all the time. He does a lot of like murals around Chicago. He recently teamed up with oh my gosh, Semicolon bookstore out here, which is a black-owned bookstore, and like Tommy Hilfiger to do different bags and stuff like that. So he's great, and he's all self-taught. Nothing like that. But when I was moving back, I was like, yo, I want a piece of art for my office that kind of like defines who I am essentially. And it almost is in 3 prongs. Obviously, at the top right is like, Chicago skyline, the bean, Kanye, the Chicago flags in there. Middle, a part of sports, kicks, the threes for the 3 championships with GSW. Gatorade, honestly, it's for like when the G League championship. Golden State won that first year I was there. And the rest are just like I wanted to showcase like my favorite superheroes and like the ideation of Spider-Man and Miles Morales, Luke Cage and Black Panther. So and I was like, yo, this is kind of like what I was thinking. And then the biggest thing it has in there is like over the last 2 years, I've been pitching this idea of progress over pride because I've always been a very prideful dude with everything I do. And sometimes I've noticed that's gotten in the way of whether it's my creativity or other stuff to where like, hey, you got to set that aside in order to progress. So I wanted it kind of like as a centerpiece of it. And, that's really the synopsis of that. But yeah, Rico he killed this, dude. He did this in like a week too. He was like, hey, bro, I got it for you. I'm like, what? And I was like, this is going to be like, somebody tells you in that type of time, you're like, this ain't going to be good. Like, they didn't really care for it. And I saw them like, nope, no notes. No,
I was wrong.
I was wrong. I'll buy it from you right now. Thank you.
What else are you up to today?
Dude, honestly, I need to unpack. That's what I'm kind of doing, like in this background, is unpacking this, my stuff because it's just kind of chaotic. And then you got to have a clean workspace, clean mind. And then I'm gonna, I got some people sending me their from the program I'm running, sending me their edits today. So one of them was watching it earlier. Shout out Stephanie, who was watching. I know she put us in an IG story. So. She's working on a vlog for me, and I'm excited to see that. And
nice.
They're sending me some cuts today, but the goal is just to kind of just get organized for the week, dude. I gotta, with the holiday coming up, I'm not doing anything, so essentially I'm making up what I would do on Thursday today.
Look, man, catch up to it. I'm gonna leave you with this. My Instagram has had some people adding the stream. And Stephanie Lovell said, of course, I've been working with Off-Camera Lights more. Definitely looking forward to reading the Insecure article you read and the mic thread you linked. I really appreciate Devin asking that.
Yeah, that's Stephanie right there. Yep. Shout out to Stephanie, bro.
So
she's a killer, too. She does great work.
Listen, you never know who's listening and watching. That's super funny. I really appreciate you making. Oh, and someone else said, "Thank you. LA Lakers are my hometown team." I don't know what Lakers have to do with this. I'm not beefing. I don't know what the Lakers have to do with this exactly. But but yeah, man. Let me know how the Flash stuff goes, and we can talk about it more offline. Obviously, you don't have to feel a need to hop onto this weirdness and talk to me.
I will. I'm gonna reach out, bro. I appreciate you hitting me with let me come drive by on the stream.
It's like good to see your face. God, quarantine's so sad.
So sad.
It's so sad. Like truly such a sad.
I saw one of my friends in LA and I hugged him. I'm like, wow, this is nice. Like, I love my wife, but like I've hugged her enough. I'm like, I want to hug other friends and just make sure they're cool too. Like, are you guys good? Like, how's life?
It's bad. The hugging 2 years from now when we're all vaccinated and hopefully this is no problem.
Like, even just like dapping somebody up was like a rush. Like I was like, yo, like the hardest shit of all time. And they're like, yo, like what's up? I'm like, bro, I haven't really like that. Like, love my wife to death, but she's not like that. She doesn't know how like that really like wow. You know what I mean? So like it's not gonna be like this crazy thing. So like seeing the homies, I was like, yo, what's up, bro? How you feeling? How's life? Because I can do this shit over text all day, but it's, as you know, it's different. So
it's super different. Even just seeing you now, it's exciting. Like what a time, man. Please be safe and keep sharing stuff. I'm like always excited to see it.
I have so much stuff I haven't shared, and I need to get better at getting back.
Well, I mean, that's part of it. I try to tell people, like, listen, that an untouchable Pusha T's first line is I dropped every blue moon to separate myself from you kings of the YouTube. The truth of that line is a lot of people work very hard, and just because they ain't sharing nothing don't mean
they're not doing
something working.
Right. But the problem is, as you know, in our realm is people want to see you active on your stuff on top of being active because, oh, well, maybe he's not doing it anymore or this and that. But that's not true. I'm just not sharing everything. Like, that's right. I don't like by the time I like edit the stuff I want to edit for me, it's 3 a.m. and I'm dead tired.
Yeah.
And then I forget about it the next day because I'm on 17 calls on somebody else's deal.
Yeah.
You get it, my bro. Yeah, man, put that food in your system. Tap in. Appreciate you.
Get some food. I'm gonna eventually get this haircut.
I need my barber to stop playing because I also need this haircut.
I love my barber, but he cuts people in their house, and so for the last couple of months, I've been like, I'm good. I'm gonna just let this go.
Oh, in his actual house?
No, he'll cut people. He goes to people's houses and cuts them.
Oh,
he's real cool. He's great. I started working with him. Like I photographed him something years ago, and then he's just been cutting my hair. He's super nice. It's not that expensive. But I love him. But I'm like, I know you got masks on, bro, but I don't trust other people, so I'm good.
That's the problem. Is the other people part.
I'm mad at him. I'm mad at the other people.
Yep. And you come the day after, like, nah.
I will leave you with this. I was on set for this commercial, and yes, 2 days ago, the second day of the shoot, a PA was walking up, a Brooklyn dude, real Brooklyn dude, coming up the street, and he was like, we're in the middle of very rich New Jersey. And the COVID coordinator's like, yo, put your mask back on. And he's like, it's a steep hill. Plus, man, I grew up in these streets in Brooklyn, man. Hey, Bill, bullets kill me. COVID ain't gonna get me. And we were like, no one said.
Bro, that sounds like my pops. That sounds like
I was so tight. I was like, I'm not saying that we're not saying you're weak. We're just saying if one of us gets coronavirus, the whole job is done. No one's getting paid.
The set is done with. We can't make money no more. He said the coronavirus ain't gonna get me. Listen, I appreciate his hood tendencies. Don't get it twisted. It's just you gotta know better. You gotta know better, bro.
Oh, man. All right, everybody, you already know about Devin. If you have any more questions about Lightroom Classic, lighting, anything following from today, as usual, you can DM me on any of the social channels you're watching this on, or on Instagram, Twitter, Behance, Twitch, whatever. I will open it up, and it has been my pleasure. Everyone, please have a safe Thanksgiving. If you're quarantining, please stay with the people you're quarantining with. If you're traveling, please get tested with a PCR and a rapid test. And there's no shame in putting a boundary on something. So
Nope.
Appreciate y'all. Holla at you. Devin, I'm going to drop you off. Please follow Devin if y'all haven't seen already. I will put some more of his links in the chat, in the description. But, yo, hopefully the Bears draft a different quarterback because this is not working.
Yeah, well, they should have had Cam, but, another story for another day.
I truly was confused by that.
The
good news for y'all is, though, if the Jets draft a new quarterback, you probably get Darnold for cheap. You could probably get Jimmy Garoppolo might be done after this season. Like, really anybody.
Yeah, if Jimmy came, I think Jimmy out of all those options you said would probably be the best one. The problem is it doesn't matter who's there if they can't protect whoever's behind them. Who's ever quarterback, don't matter. It could be Jesus himself. They can't protect him. It's not going to be working.
Listen, I watched that game. I saw Nick Foles get hit so hard I was scared for him.
I got hit. That's how hard he got hit.
Like, yeah, when he was on the ground, I was like, is he paralyzed? Like, I was actually scared. I was like, yo.
My chest got hit. Like, I'm hurt.
Yo, right now we have 42 people watching us on Behance. And Misty wanted to say thank you for a great stream. Misty, it's all Devin, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could be this handsome and talented, but I got to keep up with my class.
You better quit.
My man got multiple Emmys. He got a YouTube award. My man got a picture trophy. I'm just out here with some plants in my crib, you know what I'm saying?
I needed more. Wifey made put plants in my office.
Oh, man.
Appreciate everybody watching.
This is the blackest thing ever. We've been saying goodbye for 15 minutes.
Did you not see this video the other day?
Yeah, I saw it.
Where it was like 2 hours later, they're like in the car. She's like, all right, now we're actually leaving. That's us. That was us right now. You said goodbye.
Show me the lie.
You said goodbye 14 times. It's nuts.
Bruh, it's
on a Sunday too, on the Lord's Day. This couldn't be black every time.
Yo, be safe, my man. All right, wherever you go, wear a face mask, wear a face shield, slap people that ain't wearing their masks. It'll be great. Tell wife
I slap them. I have gloves on because Rona can put you out.
That's something I've been thinking a lot about. It's like not like I was like flying to Atlanta for the CNN shoot. This dude just took his mask off on the plane. And like I was thinking to myself, if I get into an argument with him, I don't win because he's gonna spit his stuff. Like there's no winning here.
I got on a plane. See, look, we're still talking. It's hilarious. I got on a plane to LA from here, literally Monday. And again, you have to sign the thing that you have to click the thing that says you are flying with a face cover. You get on the plane. There's this old, very like rural white lady. She gets in her seat. She's like, I don't know why we have to wear these things on the plane. I'm like, ma'am. And then like the flight attendant every time said, ma'am, please put your mask. It was always with like a grunt or like a disapproval. And you're like, you know what's going on. Like, stop.
Even New York's trying to get us off the stream. I'll leave you with this. I was leaving Atlanta. Oh wow, there's a fire truck going the wrong way up my street. That's not good. Like literally just on the. It's a one way this way. The fire truck's going this way. Anyway.
I thought that was outside my house because I hear sirens every single day at my house.
We were leaving Atlanta. I was in the TSA pre-check line. Over in the regular line, we're standing there pre-check, and I look over. These two dudes walk up. One dude has a mask on his chin. One dude has no mask. Keep in mind, we're already in the airport, like deep in the airport. Not like we walk up. The TSA person turns to them and says, "Oh, hey." If y'all can't afford a mask, here's a mask. And he goes, oh, yeah, no, I don't do that.
You can't even be in the airport like that, bro. Like,
bro, I was so shook. He literally was just like waved them off. Like Jeremy Lin against, it was wild. I couldn't believe it.
And they were just like, all right, cool. Like,
I don't even know what happened. I was so afraid of making eye contact with such a crazy person. I just was like, and I'm focused this way.
I don't trust people.
Like, you just out here raw dog in the air indoors. Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me, bro. Couldn't be me. My mom told me different. All right, I'm really gonna hop off though.
All right, bro.
I gotta do 1,000 things. Appreciate you, bro. I love.
All right, everybody. Final thoughts. As always, it is great to have people on the stream. If you have any questions at all, feel free to DM me on Instagram, Behance, Twitter. My Twitter's right here. It's at Andre Leroux. Every other platform, Instagram is at Andre, Behance is at Andre, Facebook is at Andre. Twitch is at Andre Lure, I believe. But if you're curious about anything, like, we can talk photography. Today we talked about lighting techniques. We talked about making some selects. We talked about color grading on Lightroom. If there's anything you're curious about at all and you'd like to see in a future stream, or if you'd like to come on the stream, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Thanks as always. Peace.